What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the J&J Power Hour. I think we've been talking about doing this episode for it feels like 80 weeks at this stage. Like, we've been talking about this since shoot November. Like, it's Rumble time. We are mere days away from the Royal Rumble. This airs on a Thursday. As always, I have to just state this. We are recording this before Monday Night Raw. So, we are... For any kind of predictions and that we talk about for the 2022 Rumble, you have to remember Raw has not aired, and obviously SmackDown hasn't aired. So things could necessarily be different because, as everybody knows with WWE, it can change on a heartbeat. Every match that we talk about could potentially be changed when it's WWE land. So everybody just take a chill pill. Things could be changed. More people could be announced. It is what it is. We can't...
Sadly, COVID could still be a change. You know,
exactly.
There's a lot of things that can happen.
There's a lot of variables in question. So we just have to say that this is all of our predictions are before Monday Night Raw. They could very much change by the time Raw airs and definitely by the time SmackDown airs, because a lot of things could happen. But for the most part, my predictions have pretty stable. I've been pretty solid in the last week or so. I've been I'm pretty certain I know who my picks are. But we just need to say that just in case, because everything could change. So, now that we got that out of the way, first and foremost, last week was it was a bit of a heavier show. This week is the opposite. We're going to have a lot of fun with this show, but thank you for last week. It was a selfish episode completely for me. It was not for JPJ. He was here to hold my hand, so I appreciate you letting me kind of just do my thing for 1 week. But yeah, it was cool to get that off my chest. But now we're all gears to the Royal Rumble. On a scale of 1 to 10, how fucking excited are you for the Rumble?
Oh, I'm a 10. Always.
I'm like an 11. I'm like a...
Yeah. Yeah, and the crazy thing is, I feel like you and me both, we have been... When it comes to WWE, especially the main roster of WWE, I feel like you and I might be at our lowest of how we feel about... You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We still watch it. We still enjoy it for the most part. We still love wrestling. We love it, but we haven't been creatively satisfied watching the shows. And I feel like we're at the lowest that we've probably felt about the product in a long time.
Yes and no.
With that being said, the Royal Rumble comes up, and you and I have been, like you said, it feels like we've been talking about it every week, at least for this month.
Oh my God.
Royal Rumble, So it doesn't really matter, even though we've been I'm just as excited as always. I just get jacked up for the Rumble. It's the best show of the year for me.
It is. I agree.
And we've talked about it. I enjoy it more than I enjoy Mania.
Oh, me too. Mania can be a drag sometimes. I love Mania, and the atmosphere of WrestleMania is so cool. There is nothing bigger than WrestleMania, but it can get a little... You just kind of go through the motions sometimes. You're like, I don't care about this. I care about the big match. I don't care about blah, blah, blah. With the Rumble, I feel like it's the only time where I'm consistently from start to finish, boom. I am just ready. Yeah. The card's smaller because there's less matches because of the two Rumbles going for over an hour each time. So there's less of that. There's less chance to be... I care about every single match on this card. And that's a rare thing to do in wrestling now.
This is a good card. It's a really good card.
It's a stacked show from top to bottom.
Yeah, this is a super event. Here.
For I think we're in St. Louis at the Dome, I think it's called. Is that right?
Yeah.
So
I believe
something like the Dome or something. From my understanding, it's like a 40,000 seat arena, stadium.
Yeah, it's a bigger arena. Yeah.
Is it a big arena or is it a stadium? I know there's technically a difference, but regardless, it'll be sold. I think it's sold out, is it not?
Mm-hmm.
As it should be. It's the Rumble. If you're not selling out the Rumble, then you got an issue. But sell out. It's going to be a WWE crowds are hit and miss now. They really are. There's more misses than hits. But for the Rumble, we're going to get a hot crowd. It's going to be a lot of fun, especially for some of these, even the non-Rumble matches.
Real good.
Oh man, it's gonna be a lot of time. So let's talk about the 2022 Rumble now first, and talk about our predictions. Let's do this first because we're kind of in the zone of it. And then we are going to talk some like favorite Rumble memories, favorite Rumble matches, just the Rumble in general. And we'll kind of intertwine everything into one. But we're here for the 2022 Rumble. At time of recording, there are 6 matches on the card? 5 matches on the card? 5 or 6. You get that. If you bring the card up, so then we have it. Because as the host of this show, I'm not prepared at all, so that's fine. But you can bring the card up. But first thing that I want to talk about, because I really want to talk about this first. We have a mixed tag team match going down at the Royal Rumble that I didn't think I'd be as excited for as I currently am. Again, we don't know what's going to happen on Raw. There's some kind of Maurice birthday celebration in time of we obviously haven't watched that, but by the time this comes out, it'll probably be either really good or really bad. But 9 times out of the 10, stuff with Miz and Maurice and Beth and Edge has been hitting pretty well. Like, it's been pretty on point with a lot of the stuff. Like, last week we seen Maurice hit Beth Phoenix with a fucking brick. I was like, that's kind of fucking cool. Like, fuck yeah, Maurice.
Yeah, that was old school.
But it will be the grit couple.
In the purse.
The grit couple, as they call themselves. Beth Phoenix and Edge teaming for the first time ever. Husband and wife versus husband and wife, the it couple, the Miz and Maurice. I don't know. Mixed tags can get a little formulated because, listen, it's not intergender. It's basically 2 single matches in one. Women fight the women, men fight the men. I have no problem with that. I'm completely indifferent on intergender wrestling, but I don't think it exists in a WWE world. And I don't think it should exist in a WWE world, to be completely honest. That's just my opinion. Don't come for my neck. I don't hate it. Don't love it. I'm just completely flat on the opinion of intergender wrestling. But mixed tags are hard. However, I'm very invested in the fact that I think this match is going to end with Beth and Maurice involved in the finish. I think that's what we're building to, is like Edge and Miz seem to be the meat and potatoes of this match. They're probably going to be the ones kind of, putting this all together and wrestling for majority of the match. But I think the whole idea of this match is we want Beth Phoenix to get her hands on Maurice. They built that really well. I hope they don't do anything this week on Raw. I hope they haven't done anything this week on Raw where Beth kind of gets her hands on Maurice. But I think that's the kind of moment of this match, isn't it? It's like the tag, the eventual like Maurice getting away, keeps tagging out to the Miz. Yeah. And then when Beth gets her hands on Maurice, she's going to kill her.
Of course.
That's how I see this kind of going. But how do you feel about this match? Because Edge and Miz have been feuding for quite some time, and Maurice. And then Beth Phoenix has kind of come into the fold at day one. I know you were fairly indifferent on Edge and Miz's match at day one. You were just kind of like, it was fine. It was a very slow match. But like, how do you feel post day one? Have they done a better job getting you ready?
Well, yeah, I kind of I was hoping that this is where they were going when they started the Miz and Edge feud, because Edge had just come back for the first, and this is the first thing since the Rollins stuff, really, and it for the most part, for him, right?
No, it is.
And,
it 100% is.
Yeah, and I was like, all right, and the Miz had just come back from Dancing with the Stars, so they both were coming back, and it made sense to be like, all right, well, you guys have, we'll do that. I did think the match at day one was fine. I didn't think it was bad at all, but it was standard, standard match. It was okay.
Standard the Miz match, to be completely honest.
Yes. And I like both of these guys. I like Edge a lot, and I think Miz he's a Hall of Famer. I mean, that's simply what he is.
100%.
Yeah. But once Beth kind of left the NXT booth, I was like, I had said, oh, it'd be cool if they turned, because Maurice had come back into the fold as well with the Miz since he returned. And I'm like, oh, that'd be cool if they did a mixed tag. I'd be more in on that than I would be on just Edge and Miz alone. And then Maurice was there, started, and then and once we knew it was happening, I'm very excited for this match.
Locked in, I guess you could say.
Yeah. So I think this is one of those matches where there are 4 legitimate stars in the match, and this is the only match that's not a title match or a Rumble match on the card.
That's true.
It's the only match that doesn't have stakes on the card, but it's an attraction match. Beth Phoenix does not wrestle often.
Maurice doesn't either.
Maurice doesn't wrestle often either.
The last match I think Maurice had was maybe Brie Bella, in the sense of like Brian and Brie versus Miz and Maurice. That could have been.
Yep.
Is that
It
right?
probably was.
That was in 2018. So she hasn't wrestled in 3.5 years. That was in like October. Yeah. I could be wrong. Maurice went and had they had their other.
Was she in any of the Rumbles recently?
She's never been in a Rumble. Maurice has never been in a Rumble.
Huh. Well, there you go.
Beth Phoenix's last match was the 2020 Rumble, when she got her head all busted open and stuff like that.
Yeah, busted open.
I don't think there's any question. Well, there's no doubt in my mind that Beth can still 100% go. Oh, Beth is ready.
Easily.
Beth could be just put in the division right now and kick ass. Maurice, a lot of people look at Maurice and like Divas era, and you know me, I'm a Diva person and I value everything that they did. But Maurice was never known for her 5-star in-ring skills. She was a very passable wrestler who I think maybe is a little maybe undercredited in some of the stuff that she did.
Great theme song.
Great
entrance song.
And great character. Also, really damn good promos now. For someone who's not, their English is not their native language, she's a damn good promo. And I think it plays with her well. Like, her not being able to speak perfect English kind of goes with the kind of Maurice persona. Is that weird? I don't know. But it just kind of fits. And man, oh man, does Maurice... If Miz is a very well-rounded character, I don't think there's any question in our mind that Miz is a great character. But if there's a missing puzzle piece to him, it is Maurice. And she fits that very well. She adds so much to the Miz. So, do I think this is going to be a 5-star wrestling match? No. But do I think this is going to be a great opener? Probably for the show. Fuck yeah. I think it's going to be a great, fun match that we're just like, let's get... The whole idea of this match, like I said before, is Beth getting her hands on Maurice, hitting her with a glam slam, 1, 2, 3, we ride off into the sunset of this story. I think this needs to be the end of this, though. I really don't think... You know, we got to get Edge in Mania build mode, whoever he works with, but
I expect Edge to be involved in the Elimination Chamber match.
I think Edge is probably...
At the Shouty show in February.
I think Edge is probably going to take a month off.
You think? And then he just comes back for a big match at Mania?
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know. Yeah, no, you might be right. I think him and AJ Styles would make a lot of sense for me at WrestleMania.
I was thinking that's
that too, just because
leaning. There's not really... What else do they do?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know what else they're doing. They're not going to be involved in the title picture. They've completely separated AJ and Omos immediately.
No, they're done.
Not even involved with each other.
No.
I feel like that makes sense. I feel like that's a match people have wanted to see for a long, long time.
Yeah,
and
let's give it to them.
They're two big stars who have never fought. Why not?
Holy fuck, it would be
the bucket list or dream match, you could say, for people, like whatever.
We got 2 nights of WrestleMania, guys. We got a lot of wrestling to get through, and that is a perfect. That's a perfect kind of. I mean, there's no way that will suck. It's Edge and it's AJ, 2 of the all-time greats.
Yeah.
Especially Edge is in this zone at the moment where he can pretty much take anything and make it work, however he wants to. His promo work is like, I don't think enough people give Edge the shout of being like one of the best talkers ever. And right now, I think he's pretty untouchable. It's very clear to me that he is not reading from a script. Edge, I think, has enough stroke to be like, you tell me what you want me to go with, and I'm just going to go. He's very good at that.
Tell me the subject and I'll take care of it.
I think Miz is actually like that too. I'm pretty certain
I think they trust Miz.
They trust Miz. There's certain people that get that kind of, and I know this sounds awful, but it's people who've been there for a long time and that have gained the trust of the powers that be. And Edge and Miz most certainly are 2 people that have gained that trust. But just quickly, I just want to quickly mention this. It's pretty, I don't know, lack of a better term, but dumb of WWE to call something the Elimination Chamber in Saudi Arabia.
I agree.
But anyway, we digress. Let's talk.
Maybe they won't. Maybe they'll add something to it that changes.
I don't know. So the idea of it, though, the idea of that match.
Oh, it's
maybe just calm it down a little there, guys. But do you? I'm not going to probably watch that whole show.
WWE. Anyway. I mean, they have a track record of not
of being morally
great. If you want to talk about it, they just renamed a wrestler that they filed a trademark for the name that was a Nazi general.
Let's we're not
going to talk about it.
We're not even going to dive into that because that I don't get mad about stuff like that. I couldn't give 2 shits about names, but he said that name and I was like,
why?
Why not rename him when he was in NXT UK? I wouldn't have been this mad.
Yeah.
But he established himself.
He's the longest reigning NXT UK champion ever. Like, that's in your company archive.
Gunther?
As Walter.
Fuck off.
Gunther.
Fuck up. Anyway.
Why?
Anyway.
So unnecessary.
It is.
Anyway.
It's dumb. It's dumb. Rumble.
But the trademark they filed for.
Oh, I know. It's bad. It was
a Nazi general.
A simple Google search could have avoided that. Whether they did it intentionally or not, a simple, quick little. You should have. You are
Google search. Nice little Google search.
$1 billion company at one stage. You should have someone on your team going. Can we just type that into Google? Just have a quick little look. Oh, we're good. No problem. No Nazi. Okay, great. Top tier work there, guys. But whatever. Let's talk. Anyway. Let's talk. Something that we've wanted for the longest time that I truly at one point didn't know if we were going to get. It's the WWE Championship. Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley. I expect this to be brutal. I expect this to be fast, and I expect this to be very impactful. Now, it's very interesting at this time because usually you would look at a card with, we'll talk about the Universal title in a minute, but with both Roman and Brock on opposite title matches, you'd go, they're retaining. It's Rumble season. We're going up to Mania. There's really no question. But right now, the whole day one thing that happened with Brock winning and Roman being out with COVID has kind of thrown a spanner into the works. And it's made both of the two world title matches super fucking unpredictable, which I love. Like, I'm so just completely like, I fucking have no idea what's going to happen. Brock and Bobby is just like, again, I didn't know if we're ever going to get this. I thought the boat had kind of passed on this ever happening. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, it's happening. And it's like, honestly, perfect timing. I can't think of a better time to ever do this than right now. It is two behemoths, two destructive beasts. Bobby Lashley has been on a tear this last year of just being, he's peaked in his career in the sense of like, he'll never do anything bigger. And that 2020 was just, 2021, I should say, was just huge for him. And Brock's Brock. Brock is truly in a zone where he's in a match and you can never count him out. Even at day one, I was like, okay, he's in the match. I don't think he's going to win. And then he won. And it's like, I should have known. Like, every time I think he's not going to win, he wins. So it's really interesting. But I do expect this to be very fast, very brutal, very heavy hitting. And the crowd is going to eat this up like it's chocolate pudding. Like, it is just a perfect meal, a perfect dessert for the Royal Rumble. It is going to be interesting, though. It's hard to predict. What do you think about the kind of build up to this one?
I think it's been good. I think it's been okay. I'm excited for the match no matter what. And we have to see what they're going to do as we record this on Monday. We're going to see what they do tonight on the Go Home show.
They have like a weigh-in or something, don't they?
Yeah, I think that's what it is, right? Is it or a weigh-in?
Face off or something? I think I mean, it could change.
Yeah, I hope they don't have a brawl or anything. I want to save it for I want to see them really.
You want them to touch at the Rumble. You don't want them to touch beforehand.
Yes, correct. But I'm all in on babyface Brock. I have
weirdly, so am I.
It's been tremendous. And he he's like you said, he's Brock. He's Brock Lesnar no matter when he comes back. It's a big deal. But it's been refreshing. He needed a refresh a little bit. And it's been refreshing to kind of see the new look, the new attitude. He's talking himself a lot more, which I like. Yeah. It's just been I've been really enjoying this version. And I'm a Brock Lesnar guy. I'm not an anti-Brock guy. I know there are a lot of anti-Brock
people. I never really have been
anti-Brock. He's one of the all-time
first ballot Hall of Famer. He's one of the best.
Question.
No one gets a reaction like Brock Lesnar. Not in the sense of like a pop. Correct. I just mean like the internal reaction from people of just like, you know, it's a big deal when Brock Lesnar is involved. There's not really many people like that. I know, by the way, everybody that's watching on video, I don't know why she has to keep jumping up when I record and try to get on the desk. It is her, not at time of recording, but when we release this, it is Giddy's birthday, so I guess she gets
happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Gid. She couldn't give two shits. She just wants to get up on
time to shine.
She wants to get on the desk.
It's her time to shine.
All right, see ya. She's so annoying. But even she's excited for Brock and Bobby. That's how big this is. My cat is even ready to watch Brock and Bobby.
When we talk about Lesnar, right? Like, when was the last time you can remember him having a bad match?
I don't even
like
I don't even think it's like a bad match. I don't rate Brock Lesnar matches on good or bad. To me, it's like, when was the last time a Brock Lesnar match didn't feel big?
Exactly. Yeah, like it's, and he delivers. Like, they're usually pretty good
for the most part,
or really good.
He can have like Brock. If Brock's the thing with Brock is that he has to have the right opponent to give a shit. Because if Brock doesn't give a shit, Brock doesn't give a shit.
You get Dean Ambrose at WrestleMania.
Exactly.
He did not give two shits about that match. I was looking forward to that match. That was the match I was looking forward to the most on that card.
And it was just like
it stunk because Lesnar was like, I don't know. No.
But like, if he's in there, he seems to really enjoy wrestling people like Seth Rollins, people like AJ Styles, Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan, whatever you want to call him. He seems to have a lot of fun with
Finn Balor had a real good
Finn Balor, yeah. He seems to like people that he can just kind of throw around, people that are smaller than him. But that's not to say that he hasn't had great matches with people that big. Samoa Joe, Braun Strowman. Him and Braun had good matches. Roman's a bigger guy. He's not small by any sense of the word. It is going to be interesting, though. I mean, I know a lot of people are going to be like, bitch. But Goldberg and Brock had a great match at WrestleMania 33. Like, a great match.
Yes, they did.
And
yes, very good.
Like, I expect this kind of match with Bobby, in the sense of, like, it's not going to be a 20-minute chain wrestling, technical wrestling masterpiece. It is two bulls running into one another and seeing who falls down first. And that's fine, because of everything else on the card, we need something like Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley to kind of keep the pace flowing. Because it is I couldn't imagine booking a Royal Rumble. No one wants to follow a Royal Rumble match in the sense of being in the middle of the card, because no matter what goes on after the first Royal Rumble, the interest level is going to be drastically, not the interest level, the energy level is going to be drastically different.
Yeah.
It's pretty burnt out. So I think having these matches in the middle of the card kind of helps the energy, like, oh, we don't have any energy, but we have to have energy for this. So it kind of brings up the pace of the show. But it's hard to really pick this. And it kind of, I guess, ties into everything here. But I do think that Brock will win.
I agree. I do think Brock retains.
But we'll talk about Universal Championship because it all kind of ties in with that. These are two very intertwining stories. But let's talk about the Raw Women's Championship. Don't know if I was expecting to say this early. Becky Lynch, big time Bex, as I guess she's called now, will be defending the Raw Women's Championship against Doudrop. Two heels, essentially, in this story. Well, it is two heels. I mean, Becky's a heel, but she's also a little bit of a tweener in my sense of like, she can be cheered or booed on any given day, dependent on her opponent. So it is. Becky is just. She's officially gone into that area of grey where she's just Becky. She's just literally big time Bex, just hanging out in this area of grey that kind of just is her own entity. A few people have that in the company, and she's one of them. So Doudrop won a triple threat match against Liv Morgan and Bianca Belair a few weeks ago on Raw to gain this Raw Women's Championship opportunity. Becky did get involved with both.
I was going to say, Becky got involved and kind of
screwed Bianca over, screwed Liv over a little bit.
Made it to be that way.
Yeah. Exactly. So it kind of keeps the stories open for those fellows, if need be, to tie some loose ends if we need to. But I think I can probably predict for you that we both know Becky's walking out of this is the only match on this card where it's super predictable. It's like, there's no way Doudrop leaves Royal Rumble with a Raw Women's Championship. However, I think this is a nice little coming out party for Doudrop in the sense of like, this is a good opportunity to be like, I'm Doudrop and I'm really good at wrestling, because Piper Niven, I think par for par is one of the best workers they have in the company. I truly believe that. And Becky's great, and Becky is known. Becky's a great worker. Becky can get a lot of the best out of everyone, in my opinion. I don't think she's the best worker that they have. I think there's better wrestlers than Becky, but Becky can really bring out the best in you. I think this is going to be like middle of the card kind of stuff. It's going to kind of, I hate saying this because it's Becky and I love Doudrop, but it's going to be the match. It's not going to be the baddest match. I don't think it's going to be bad. I just think it's going to be the kind of like something great was just
We're leveling out the crowd here.
We've got to bring them down a little bit. It's going to be slower. It's not going to be a fast-paced match, in my opinion. It'll be a kind of, I hope it's kind of a staple of like, here's Doudrop, she's really good. One day she might be Raw Women's Champion. That's how I see this match going. But it is not at the Royal Rumble, I tell you that.
No. They've made Doudrop look great leading up to it. She looks like a powerhouse. She's gotten the best of Becky. Like they have made her look fantastic, as they should. Like if you want to build new stars, that's how you do it, is by making them look, you want her to be this monster heel, like this dangerous big monster heel. Well, you know how she does that? By running through the competition. That's how she does it.
How do you feel about this is the most WWE question I'm about to ask you ever, but how do you feel about her losing 3 straight matches to Bianca Belair and now being the number 1 contender to the Raw Women's Championship?
I think it's
the most WWE thing ever, isn't it?
Well, because what they do is they plug and play. They don't build any, like Liv Morgan, right? So Mr. Warren Hayes came on Between Two Beards and he actually mentioned this. He said Liv Morgan, who you and I adore. We really like Liv Morgan, big Liv Morgan people. We'll probably be talking about her in a little bit when we talk about the Women's Rumble match. We've wanted her to get that opportunity forever. We wanted her to win Money in the Bank. We've wanted her to get the opportunity. And eventually she did. She challenged Becky for a couple matches for the title. But there was no leading, like, they just were like, okay, it's Liv's turn. And they just kind of threw her out there, like, you're the one now. Go ahead. It was out of nowhere. She didn't go on some long winning streak that we saw her winning matches on Raw week after week after week after week. It was just like, oh, it's Liv's turn. Let's go. And then she did her 2-month thing. She lost, and that was it. And now it feels like it's Doudrop's turn. Okay, here we go. And that's how they book. There's no constant, like this whole time leading up to it, Doudrop could have been on television destroying people.
Squash matches.
Destroying lower tiered. Yes. Like she was having good matches with Bianca. Those matches were good. And those were and the moment where we talked about it on here where Bianca lifted her up, like those were good matches with really big moments, but she lost them all. So like she could have been just destroying the mid to lower tier women on the roster that can take losses that it doesn't matter. She could have just been destroying these people. So now by the time we're here, it's like, oh yeah, well, she's won 13 out of her last 15 matches. So like, she's whatever, but that's just not how they do it. They just, no, it's your turn. And after she loses this one, whoever wins the Rumble, it'll be their turn. And then they're the next one. And then that's how, and then after them, there's no
continuity,
continuous build to anything.
It is what it is. The match will be fine.
Yeah.
Becky's walking away Raw Women's Champion.
She's going to win, but I think they'll make Doudrop look great in defeat. She'll have a couple moments where she's really throwing Becky around and doing some cool stuff because she's a great wrestler. And they'll make Doudrop look good. And she will eventually lose, and that'll be that.
One thing I'll add to that is that I don't appreciate Becky Lynch calling this fucking woman doo-doo on Raw last week. She called her doo-doo.
That's a little the
fuck?
That's a little low brow.
What? Come on. Becky is better than that. Like, that's just...
Yes.
That to me is the writers or whoever powers that be going, say that line.
Yeah.
That's not a Becky Lynch creation. She called her... It's a terrible name, and we know that Doudrop is an awful name. We can't change it, but like... Come the fuck on. Be better than doo-doo.
Yeah, it's bad.
But anyway,
it's bad.
Becky Lynch walks away with Women's Champion. I think a match that we weren't really expecting to have a month ago. We were like, this is not going to be the Universal Championship match, but it is. Universal Championship Roman Reigns versus Seth freaking Rollins. His name is now coined, and it's his name. His name is Seth freaking Rollins.
Yeah, it's in the graphic.
For some fucking reason. I have no problem calling him Seth freaking Rollins. It's just like, it's just his shtick, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. I don't get hung up too much on name changes that aren't the former Horta. But anyway, This match is going to be fucking awesome. Like, truly, there's
God,
always a match at the Rumble that we talk about at the end of the year as match of the year. This is going to be that one we talk about at the end of the year that's like, this was really... Remember this match happening in January and it stole the show? In terms of wrestling, I don't think anything comes close to what Rollins and Reigns can do. We've seen them work before. They're great. We know this is going to be great. Roman doesn't miss. Seth Rollins doesn't miss. They're two of the best in the world, and they're going to have a fucking barn burner, and it's going to be fucking awesome. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. The build for this match has been brilliant. Okay, listen. I think the brand split should die. I love two brands. I love the dynamic, but you're not respecting it. Let's just end it. You've released a lot of talent anyway. Let's have less titles. Let's have more meaningful stories for those titles, and let's just have a very... Just fuck this exclusive shit. Let's just go back to being it all, everyone, everywhere. I think that's what they should do. They're going to release more talent. It's going to happen. Why waste any time in cutting down to 2 rosters? Let's just all have it together, all have it flow nicely, and it is what it is. So that's my opinion. But Roman, SmackDown talent, Seth, Raw talent. Seth said he's going to take the Universal Championship to Raw if he wins. The build for this match has been really... They're not shying away from history, which WWE generally do. No. If someone's not in the company, they don't exist anymore. They're calling him Moxley. They said it not just in a Seth Rollins promo, they said it on commentary. They made it very clear that Mox was a part of the Shield. Good. That's what they should do more often. I'm very happy that they're acknowledging... You can't ignore the Shield. It's one of those things that's like, it's the obvious elephant in the room. He was a part of it. He's not the central key point of the story, but he's a part of this story between Rollins and Reigns. When I talked about areas of grey with Becky, Rollins and Reigns kind of float in between that area of grey as well. They can pretty much just be whatever. Roman is the divine heel in this role, I think. I think Seth is the kind of in-between kind of floating area of grey here.
I mean, did you watch SmackDown last week?
Yes, I did.
Him and Owens were the babyface tag team in that main event. The crowd was 100% behind them, cheering them on. They were both egging the crowd on to cheer for them. Rollins was stomping his feet. Like, I think very
Rollins
much in this scenario.
I know he's a great heel, but
he's a great whatever.
Face. Yeah, Seth's just great at it.
Yeah, like he's a great whatever. He's one of those, he can do it all.
He really can. He gets a lot of shit from people. And sometimes I think he does this a little bit too much and maybe says some things.
And I think that's why he gets the shit from people, because of that part of it.
He's truly one of the best in the world. I hate when people say that Seth Rollins isn't fantastic. I'm like, I don't understand what you're looking at, because Seth Rollins is so, like, he is that top tier level of performers in the world that he does not have a bad match. It's impossible for him to have a bad match at this stage.
Rare.
And he's not going to have a bad match with Roman. There's just no way. There's no Usos. No. Usos are banned from ringside because they won by DQ, of course, by DQ.
Yeah, because Roman,
classic WWE, they couldn't just have a clean finish.
Couldn't just pin him.
Yeah. But, it is what it is. But no Usos. It is Rollins and Reigns straight up. And it's going to be a very interesting match. Now, I said Brock was going to win the WWE Championship. This one is hard. Like, I'm like, okay, the wrestling person in me wants Reigns to continue his reign as Universal Champion right into WrestleMania, beyond if we can get there. Like, that continuous reign is very nice. However, because of everything I said before with Day One and Brock and Roman is clearly the end goal. It's just a matter of how we get there for a championship. I don't think title for title is what they're planning. I honestly don't.
No.
So I think via some kind of Brock interference or something Paul Heyman-esque something, I think Rollins is going to be the Universal Champion walking out of that. And I'm not mad at it. I like Seth. But it isn't something I would have said a month ago that at Royal Rumble, Seth Rollins, I think, is going to win Universal Championship. That's just my opinion. You may have a very different opinion to me.
That opinion is gaining heat on social media. Like, a lot of people are but some people significantly think that is a real possibility. And in my brain, I mean, obviously it can't happen with WWE. Anything can happen, but that just makes no sense to me. Roman should not lose that title. Roman should keep that title until WrestleMania next year. when he like that's how I personally feel like this Roman character should break, like he already has, but he should be, this title reign should not end on Saturday night. That doesn't make sense in his story.
Okay, I'm not sitting here and going to be like, you're fucking wrong. It's hard. It's like most matches on this card, I'm like.
But then does Brock then, I agree with you. I think Brock retains, but maybe it makes more sense. The thing is, it makes more, if you're going to change a heavyweight title, if you're like one of these titles is changing hands, it makes more sense for Rollins to be Roman, I think, because I don't know. I just don't feel like Bobby Lashley being WWE champion again. I don't know. It's very bizarre. It's hard. It's hard because
See,
I don't know if they're gonna.
You got mid-sentence then and said maybe he isn't gonna win.
I don't know.
But that's a good thing though, isn't it? That it's unpredictable.
Yes.
Because
I would rather not know than be like, oh, this is definitely happening. This is definitely of course.
It's going to be
the good thing, and I think that's why this Royal Rumble. I mean, they're all exciting. We love the Rumble, but like this one is particularly interesting because I don't necessarily know who's going to win the Rumbles either. Yeah. I don't know who's going to. The only match I know, like you said,
Becky.
I definitely know who's going to win is Becky.
Yeah.
Everything else is up in the air. Like, do I think this is going to happen? Yes, but anything can happen.
Literally anything can happen in this match, and that's what I kind of like. But you're going Reigns. If your guns to your head, you're going Reigns. Because I go Rollins. I really do. Seth is white hot at the moment too, by the way.
He is.
He's gaining a lot of steam.
Here's the thing. We're going to be, when we talk about the Rumbles, we're going to be playing like a little Rumble pool, and I had already been thinking about the men's side of it. So I don't know if you've swayed me to go with Rollins. But if you've swayed me to go with Rollins, that will change everything I do with the men's Rumble.
Just go with your heart. What's your heart saying right now? First name that go. Who's winning?
Roman. Okay,
I'm going Seth. We can be skewed on that one.
Okay.
But regardless, it's going to be a banger of a match. And by the way, if everyone knows this, I got people coming to watch. My lovely sister, her favorite wrestler right now, that has been for years, is one Mr. Seth Rollins. So she's going to be like...
Especially if he wins.
Yeah, she loves Seth Rollins and Finn Balor. They're her two people.
I'm a big Finn Balor person as well.
Yeah, so am I.
WWE is not. They are not big Finn Balor people. But I am.
I like Finn.
So
I have no... Yeah. Ooh, I like when we're different. Rollins and Reigns. It's gonna be interesting.
That was that was another part of the reason. Yeah, like I said, I just think he should hold the title a little longer.
I get that too, and I think the brain in me would like that to happen, but my gut tells me Seth Rollins, and don't they say you should follow your gut more often?
He has the momentum, I would say.
100%. 100%. All right. Now let's talk Rumbles, because they're the best part of this. Is why we're so excited is for the 60 entrants that will be entering the Royal Rumble match. Let's talk the Women's Royal Rumble first. I will read out the list of 21 at time of recording announced participants. So here we go. Got Rhea Ripley, Nikki ASH, Dana Brooke, Carmella, Queen Zelina, Tamina, Shotzi, Natalya, Aaliyah, Naomi, Shayna Baszler, the SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair, Nikki Bella, Brie Bella, Lita, Michelle McCool, Kelly, Summer Rae, Mickie James, Bianca Belair, and Liv Morgan. Those are your 21 currently, time of recording, announced participants for the Women's Royal Rumble. Okay, we have a lot to talk about here. A lot to talk about. So we got we got the meat and potatoes of this match. It's like your Rhea Ripley, it's like your Carmellas, your Zelinas. I don't think a lot of people are clamoring that they're going to win this kind of matches. You know, people like Shotzi and people like Natty and Aaliyah. Those are just your substance of the match because they're there and that's what it is about. Let's talk about the interesting variables. Let's talk about the bunch of women that were announced a few weeks ago on SmackDown that we're kind of pissed that they announced. But I get why they announced it, blah, blah, blah. Let's talk the Bellas. The Bellas are coming back. I think a lot of people are kind of glossing over the fact that Nikki Bella 2 months ago was not cleared to wrestle in a ring. Her neck was not allowing her to wrestle. I know they're still going to listen, it's a Rumble. It's not like you have to take many bumps in a Rumble match. It's just basically you're probably one bump in the ring and then you're tossed over the rope. You can kind of just chill, do your thing. So Nikki Bella's in a pretty safe environment in that sense. She's got a lot of people that can kind of take care of her, I guess you could say, if she needs to be taken care of. But I don't think a lot of people, the significance in the sense of like, I know I don't like when they're like, it's this person's wife, but Bryan Danielson has been killing it on AEW at the moment. And now Brie's just over here on WWE, and it's probably going to bring up a lot of yes chants and a lot of Bryan-esque things that Brie Bella has incorporated into her moveset, the kicks and stuff like that. There's certainly a Daniel Bryan vibe, and it's the elephant in the room. She's with Daniel Bryan. It is kind of cool that I know it's happened before and it's nothing groundbreaking, but it is kind of cool that Brie is still able to do her thing over here and there's no influence from what has happened over here. I know Bryan has said he still has a great relationship for the most part. He loves WWE and he always will. But like, it is cool that they can be in two separate entities and do their own things. And it doesn't have to be like, just because one is over here, the other one can't come over here. I mean, the Bellas are a pretty established name, whether people want to like it or not. The Bellas are pretty established. They're doing their thing. I know I'm a much bigger Bella guy than you are, but you know how excited I am to see the Bellas. They're two of my all-time favorites. I know people are going to be like, bleh, but I love them. I think they're great. So, Bella Twins excitement. Are you surprised that Nikki's in the match? Are you surprised that Brie's in the match?
I'm surprised that Nikki's in the match just because I had assumed that the neck injury was so bad that we would just we wouldn't see her take bumps anymore. Not that the Royal Rumble you need to take the biggest bump is getting thrown over the rope. So and like you can do that in a way that
safe.
You can do that in a way that should be pretty safe. You know what I mean? But I'm not surprised. I think before they announced this whole group, which you and I kind of went off on that a little bit last week about how we were just kind of bummed that it took some of the surprise away. I think there were like a total of 16 or 17 women on the main roster combined, even less than that, maybe 12 or 13. Like I felt like after the there weren't a lot of regularly employed women on the main roster. Yikes. So we knew a ton of surprises were going to happen.
You know what I mean? I understand.
Yes, exactly. They just went down the route of like, hey, we're going to announce some, and then there's only 21. So we still have 9 that we don't know about.
But let's just say that Alexa Bliss will get a spot in that, and probably Xia Li
will get a spot. Bailey could come back. Xia Li, Asuka, if she comes back. Yes. So, but I still think there's going to be 3 or 4 spots.
We'll still get a surprise.
That will be legitimate surprises.
And Asuka and Bailey are technically surprises, by the way, if they are in the Rumble. I think Asuka will be. Bailey's questionable. The more I lean into the Royal Rumble, the more I think Bailey's even more questionable. But we'll get into that in a second. Let's talk about a few of the other legends. We've got Summer Rae, who was on SmackDown, and she started a riot of people coming after her because they called her a legend. Get absolutely fucked. She can do more fucking back bumps than you'll ever take in your life, you stupid losers. Summer Rae is a legend. She did a lot of things that people don't realize. Like, remember the early days of NXT? She was a staple. She was a staple. And she can... People think that Summer Rae can't wrestle. Summer Rae can. She was a very adequate wrestler, a very good wrestler at some stage. Some great matches with Paige and Emma down in NXT. She did the dancing thing with Fandango. Feel that Summer Rae was adaptable. She did the stuff with Rusev, and I know a lot of people look at that kind of story as. But I remember this promo that she cut, and she was very good. She was a good talker. She had a little backstage segment on SmackDown, like a .com. Cut a great promo. She's entered this feud with Natty again because of Total Divas, and she's the only one out of all these ladies, with the exception of who we'll talk about in a minute, who's actually building to something. Even if it's just for 30 seconds in a little rumble with Natty, it doesn't matter. She's actually taking it of like, hey, I'm going to use this opportunity. Hey, if they're going to announce it, let's run with it and build some stuff off of this just to get some interest in it. So good for her. But yeah, she had the internet in a fucking shitstorm of being called a legend, and because everyone knows how wrestling works and everyone's such an expert of like, Summer Rae isn't a legend. Okay, she can perform more moves than Goldberg and he's in the fucking Hall of Fame, so shut the fuck up. But Anyway, I'll defend divas all day. You know I will. I will go to town. We got Kelly, who, I mean, I think probably if you close your eyes and go divas, it's probably who a lot of people will be like, it's the Kelly era. That's why I hate it. You know what I mean? That's what a lot of people seem to say. Michelle McCool, who I think is so fucking underappreciated in the terms of what she can do in the ring. She was heads and shoulders one of the best workers of that time. I think Michelle McCool was in the wrong time. I think if Michelle McCool was in now, or if Michelle McCool was in like the Trish Lita era of wrestling, I don't think would look at Michelle McCool the same. And I think a lot of people just put her into that. But people don't do that with Beth Phoenix. I don't understand. Like, Beth and Michelle were the workers of that time. Like, they were the workers. And they don't look at Beth like that. But they look at Michelle like that. But we got them. I think what we can dive into is these two women. We got Lita, who come back a few weeks ago and end up hitting a twist of fate on Charlotte Flair. Seemed to be a little tease of like, maybe Lita's got something left in her here. Maybe Lita's going to stick around for a little while. There was rumors.
There are rumors of a possible WrestleMania match. So,
I don't think either of us are going to complain about Lita.
No,
you're a Lita guy.
Big. I'm a Lita guy.
I remember.
Guy, so.
Lita has aged like a fine wine, by the way.
I was going to say, she still looks fantastic.
She probably still looks fantastic now than she ever has.
I agree.
I would agree. Great. And she seems to be in great shape. She seems to be doing a lot of training. There was rumored talks, we don't know what's true, that Fightful Select put up that she had talks with AEW to maybe come in and work a program, and for whatever reason it didn't work out. But trust me, if all said and done, I know this isn't my pick, but if Lita was to win the Royal Rumble, I certainly would not be fucking mad.
No, I wouldn't either.
I'd be like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, dude. If you were going to tell me that we would get like a Lita Becky Lynch program heading into Mania, okay. 100%. We're getting Lita and Charlotte because she hit the twist of fate on Charlotte. So if we got a Lita and Charlotte, okay. I'm good with either. I'm
cool with me.
You don't gotta sell me on that. I'm already in. I'm already in.
Woohoo! So, let's fucking go. Drive force.
Yeah, and then, Charlotte.
Go on. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. No, because I know in the middle. Charlotte being in this Rumble match is intriguing.
Trust me, I've got some opinions on that. But the last person I want to talk about, just out of the maybe the most interesting and the most one that got the most buzz, was Mickie James, just for the fact that she's the Impact Wrestling Knockouts World Champion. They mentioned it on WWE programming. She has stated that she wants to carry that championship out to the ring at the Royal Rumble. She wants to come out to Hardcore Country. Whether that happens is another question. But I think acknowledging the fact that she is in Impact, and I think that's probably the most shocking out of all of this list, just for the pure fact of that. WWE historically has not acknowledged too many other companies unless it's directly related, like they've mentioned New Japan in the past and Ring of Honor here and there. And they have worked with Impact in the past on different things, but it's not like an open book of communication of being like, Impact, you know, and WWE don't do that. There's the WWE bubble and everything else doesn't exist. So I think like we said a couple weeks, we won't go into it too much. I think a lot of people are looking into it way too much, but it is kind of cool that Mickie James is in this. I hope that it's not just like a little fluffy little thing and she gets tossed out fast. I would assume that, you know, they have to push something on her, and, you know, this could be the last time Mickie James is in a WWE ring. We really don't know. And if this really is to kind of rid of that kind of the way that happened with the release, and she's kind of said that the main reasoning behind it, other than like putting a bit of a name value on Impact, is, hey, like, while I got apologized to and while we're on very good terms since that trash bag incident happened, on a fan perspective, I'd like to just kind of be like, that's not the lasting impression I want to leave if this is the last time I'm with WWE. It's just like, let's go in, do a few cool little spots, Mickie James will get thrown out, and it will be, you know, just like a nice little stamp to go like, thank you, Mickie James, for all you've done. You'll go into the Hall of Fame one day, you know, whatever it may be, and go do your thing. But I think it is cool that Mickie James is in the Royal Rumble. I do have to mention this. I'll try not to cry. It was mentioned and reported that 2 people did turn down Royal Rumble offers. Oh,
yes. I was going to bring this up.
And while I understand why they said no. It was reported by Fightful Select that the former Iconics, the current inspiration, turned down Royal Rumble appearances. They are the current Impact Wrestling Knockouts Tag Team Champions. I would have lost my shit if they were in the Royal Rumble. But I do understand why they said no. It is very fresh that they, they're in a different spot than Mickey. They're not Mickey James. They're not in the business for 25 years. That's not where they're at in their points of their career. Do I think they'll return to WWE someday and be involved in something one day? I honestly think they will. They're very young. They've got a whole thing, and I think a lot's going to change in the next few years within the WWE landscape. And I think maybe right now is not the time for those two ladies to come back, just because of the way it happened and the way it went down. And I understand that. So the brain in me says it's for the best. My heart is just like, why couldn't they be in the Rumble? I'd like to hear that music again. Whether they'd be, I guess they would be the Iconics if they were in WWE. But it would have been just nice to see, because you never know. You never know. It would have been.
Well, since we're talking about rumored returns, and that one we knew, well, there was some news today on Monday as we record. Fightful Select again said that.
By the way, we're not sponsored by Fightful Select.
No. They're just they come out with the scoops, man. It is what it is. They're good at what they do.
Although if they want to, by the way, Fightful, if you want to sponsor us, give us some money,
please.
Yeah,
we will anytime you want.
Put you over to the moon.
Yeah. But they said that WWE is making a big push for Ronda Rousey to return, and that they were even possibly trying to get her to be an entrant in this Saturday's Royal Rumble. So, well, obviously it's a report. We don't know if it's true. We don't know if it will happen.
Adds some buzz, doesn't it? It adds some... Hey, by the way, it could be announced by the time where this airs. We'll just put that out there. But it certainly adds a level of
definite intrigue.
That was the word that was the word I was kind of going for, is intrigue.
Yeah.
There's definitely a level of interest going into this. Like, is Ronda going to be a part of this now? To be honest with you, it should have been, but her name was not on my agenda in my brain of like someone. But why wouldn't it be? Like, why wouldn't it be? You know what I mean? Like, it's been a number of months since she had her child. And Ronda Rousey is a freak athlete. Now, it's just a rumor, and it could mean nothing. But if Ronda Rousey is in the match, no matter who my pick is, I don't think I could bet against Ronda Rousey.
It changes, right? Yeah, it changes,
I could bet against Ronda. But my gut says that she isn't. My gut says that she might be back soon, but I don't think the Rumble's the spot. But... Listen, I've been wrong many times, and I'm not opposed to Ronda Rousey. I liked Ronda in her time. A lot of people didn't.
Yeah, she was good.
But, we never, ever got Becky versus Ronda. Like, one-on-one.
Not one-on-one.
We didn't get it. Ever. And it would be kind of cool to tie the tie on that match. But it does change a lot of things if Ronda's in the match. Like, if that music hits, I'm like, well, she's winning. Like,
she's winning.
There's no way she's coming in to lose. But that's just my opinion. But... I want to, you've got like a little pool going on here, so we'll kind of tie the pool into that with our kind of picks at the very back end of the pool, but ask away for the Women's Royal Rumble, because we're going to do the same questions for both the women and the men, but it is kind of cool this is the fun part of the Rumble, like who's going to get this, who's going to get this, like,
so I've done this with my buddies. I've done this with my buddies a bunch of times, you throw 10 or 20 bucks at it, whoever gets the most points, whatever. All right, so it's nice and easy. So for we're doing the women's, I'll let you go first. Who do you think is going to be the first entrant of the Women's Royal Rumble?
If we're just going, well, I mean, we can throw our surprises in there as well, can't we? If we wanted to, by the way, if we were just I think this is going to be. But I think the first entrant...
Mine is one.
Well,
mine is one of my surprises.
My first entrant this year, I think, to get some steam that has currently been building, I think Liv Morgan will actually be number one.
Okay.
Who do you think?
I have a returning Bayley.
Well, she was number one last year.
Yep.
I
have her returning, and I have Bayley returning back to back. I forgot that she was number one last year. But still, I think returning, it probably would have Tad if I remembered. But no, I think a returning, because I don't have her. When we've talked about it on air and off air, I said, hey, one of my picks to win the whole thing is if Bayley comes back, she should win it. I do not have Bayley winning it, but I do have Bayley still in a prominent position throughout the Rumble. And I think number one, big return, huge pop from the crowd.
I think Liv, just because I don't think at one point I wanted Liv to win, but I really don't think Liv will win the Royal Rumble now. And I think she'll get a nice little, you know what I mean? Let Liv shine a little bit in the Royal Rumble because she genuinely has had a pretty poor track record in the Royal Rumble, to be completely honest with you. So I think to get some sign, and she's got a little bit of buzz around her. So I think number one will be Liv.
All right. And then the 30th entrant.
See, to me, before the Ronda news, I thought Bayley would be 30. So I'm going to just go, you know what? I'm going to go with my heart here and say Bayley. I think Bayley will be number 30.
All right. This is where I think we're going to get Mickie James. Mickie James is going to be 30.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed. All right, what's next?
Does that intrigue you?
Oh no! I didn't ever really cross my brain, but I'm not opposed.
Longest time in the Royal Rumble.
That's hard because for some reason this name. You know what? I'll just go with the first name that comes to my brain. I think there's going to be a lot of stuff in here with the Sonya Naomi program. And I think Naomi might last a long time, and maybe Sonya Deville might be in the Rumble or interfere in the Rumble in some way and toss Naomi's ass out of there. After a long performance, Naomi's going to get the big one, and then she doesn't. Because that story has gone nowhere fast, and they like to just string that out for no reason. I know they're wrestling on SmackDown this week, but
yes,
let's be honest, something will fucking happen.
Something's going to happen. Yeah, it's just the way that the thing has been going. I have Bayley.
Okay, because you think she's going to be number one.
Having the longest time. She's my number one. Yeah, longest time.
I get that.
Shortest time in the Royal Rumble.
Man, out of the list of names here.
So this is the toughest. This is always one of the toughest ones. You got to look at it and be like, all right.
I'm going to go Aaliyah.
That's fair. I'm actually going with, because they just put a play on it, I'm going with Natalya.
Actually,
because I could see Aaliyah eliminating Natalya, and then she gets the fastest ever.
She gets the record
for the women's book.
Yeah, all right.
Yes.
You know what? Can I change my thing to Natty, because I think that
you going with me? You going with me?
That's exactly what's going to happen.
It was funny how you said Aaliyah. You said Aaliyah, and I was like, oh, all right, because mine was revolving around what happened.
Natty's going to try and get the fastest elimination in the match, and she's going to end up getting. She's going to run in, and
I think they could tell a cool story, like for a new person they're trying to get over in Aaliyah. She has the fastest victory in like the history of professional wrestling against Natalya. If Aaliyah's in the ring and Natalya gets in there and she does, because there haven't been like any super duper fast women eliminations yet.
That's wrong.
You know what I mean?
Liv Morgan holds that.
Is that wrong?
2019.
Was it super quick?
Yeah, she ran in, got in the ring, ran up, and got tucked out immediately. Liv's the
Do you
fastest.
remember how quick it was?
I don't remember, but it was within a few seconds. I don't know what the actual record is for the women's Royal Rumble.
All right.
It wasn't faster than Santino's, but like it was the Liv holds that record, I'm pretty certain, for fastest elimination.
Because my thought process, I forgot about that. My thought process was there's been quick eliminations, but nothing like, they did like the Santino one was like a second. And then Sheamus had a real quick one, like a second.
Yeah.
Like
they'll never
get
break
right
that
in
record.
and right out.
It's impossible to break that record, I'm pretty certain. But
yes. So I was thinking if Natalya comes in and Aaliyah eliminates her right away like that,
Guinness
like a
Book of
second
Records.
in.
That's Natty's thing.
Yeah,
now.
then you can kind of still build that like, oh, what the hell? This girl's like a nuisance to me. And then you kind of,
yeah,
but that was
I get that. No, I'm on board.
Most eliminations.
Bianca Belair.
That is my pick as well.
Yeah. I think we're tying into, winner now, are we not? Are we going into because that kind of ties in with what I'm thinking.
Well, yes. So now It is the final four.
Okay,
Your final four in the Women's Rumble.
Bayley, Charlotte.
Yep.
Belair.
Yep.
Oh. Later.
Okay. You and I have two alike. I also have Bayley. I also have Bianca. Actually, we have three because I also have Lita. And then my fourth is I have Mickie James.
So we need to change Charlotte out of ours, so that's fine.
Yeah, I think Lita. Okay, well, let's do it. All right. So then the next one is the runner-up.
Well, I mean, it kind of ties into my winner as well. So for the longest time, I think I actually even said this in the show, or I've told you. I thought for the last 4 weeks that Bianca Belair was going to win the Royal Rumble. I was like, I think it's going to be back-to-back. I think she's going to be the first one to get 2 wins, first one to go back-to-back, all that nonsense. But for some reason, the last 4 or 5 days, my pick has changed.
I know where you're going.
And I don't know why, but I think the first ever 2-time winner of the Royal Rumble is going to be Charlotte Flair. Because I think Charlotte Flair is going to win the Royal Rumble and choose... I hate saying this. I think the Mania match is Becky, Charlotte... unification.
So then why wouldn't they do that with the men's then?
Because they don't care enough, because they have less women on their roster now. And they want Becky or Charlotte to float between shows.
I feel like if you're going to pick to unify one, you should unify them all.
But it's WWE, and it doesn't make any sense. Because I had that thought. And I was like...
So you're officially picking Charlotte.
I think Charlotte Flair, whether she picks Becky or not, is a bit of a left of field thing. But I think Charlotte is going to choose her opponent at WrestleMania. I genuinely think that Charlotte Flair is going to win the Rumble. Right. And it's only changed in the last few days. But I'm like, they've put her in there. They put this stock. And it's kind of, a lot of people don't seem to be thinking this. And I feel like that's WWE on purpose going, it's floating under the radar. We want you to think that it's not going to happen. And Charlotte is in this territory like Brock, where every time you think Charlotte isn't going to win, Charlotte wins. And
so Charlotte, who do you have her?
Bianca.
Sorry.
Bianca is the runner-up. So I think that her and Belair, because I think a lot of people seem to think that the ultimate WrestleMania match at the moment is Belair and Lynch. And while I can still see that happening again, the Charlotte-Becky thing is just like a little bit of a weird feeling that I have. And I'm like, I don't know why we're going here, but I'm acting on it. But the Charlotte winning thing is 100% what I think. It's what I think is going to happen. I don't necessarily want Charlotte Flair to pick her opponent at WrestleMania, but I will say one thing. Whether people want to admit it or not, it is different, and it's never been done before, and WWE love doing things that have never ever been done before. And, I mean, someone winning as a champion and then picking their opponent at WrestleMania does have a little bit of a different vibe than everything else. I don't want it to happen, but I think it will. But I think it will be down to her and Belair.
Okay.
I don't hate Charlotte Flair. I'm not a Charlotte Flair hater by any stretch of the word. I'm really not.
I'm not, but I would be very disappointed.
I don't want that to. I don't want it to happen either. But I don't know why. I'm just like weeks and weeks and weeks. I was like, it's Belair. I think it's gonna. I said Belair in like December. I was like, I want to live sentimentally, but I feel like this thing of like Belair's just kind of floated around. She's kind of been like near the title picture, but hasn't been there. Like I thought Belair, but I just have this weird feeling that Charlotte's going to win. And that tells me something because every time I think I go with that feeling, go, no, Charlotte's not going to win. Don't worry. It's just you being paranoid. I think there's going to be a lot of fucking uprise if she does win. But I have this feeling that Charlotte Flair is going to win.
All right. Well.
And, by the way, I should preface, if Ronda Rousey's in, then all of this is out the window.
Well, yes. This is all. If Ronda Rousey is in it, I think both of us would probably change a lot of what's happening here. Yeah. My pick is I have Bayley as the runner-up. And I have Bianca. You talked me into Bianca because when Bayley got injured, it was during they were supposed to have one more match.
And I quit match.
So that feud never ended.
Yeah.
So I think Bayley comes back. She's in the final 2 with Bianca. They have a few minutes of the commentators will be like, this feud, blah, 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 blah. They build it up. And Bianca eliminates, Bianca eliminates Bayley to win. I think so. I understand what you're saying. The unification would be cool.
Would it be though? I don't think it fucking would be. By the way, I love Becky and Charlotte wrestling.
I think
I don't need to see it.
So my thing is, at the beginning of the show, you were like, "Hey, I think they should go back to one roster." No,
I agree,
and
I agree with that.
If you're doing that, you need to unify the titles.
I agree.
I don't think you need to. So
I'm on board with you, but WWE don't make sense sometimes, and that's why I think that is why that's in my brain. It's like, well, because I'm like, well, wouldn't they just unify both titles? But I'm like, no, they wouldn't, because they don't tie any loose ends in this place. So they'd just do it for one and not the other. They wouldn't think about it long term. They just go, it's just a Mania match, and we want Charlotte and Becky wrestling again. And they have great matches, but we've seen it, and it can breathe for a few years and then get back to it when it needs to get back to it. But I would love Belair to win. I think Belair going back to back would be kind of cool, to be completely honest, but I don't know why I think Charlotte.
Yeah, I mean there would be a lot of.
If that happens, you can personally punch me in the face.
No, it's not that to that extent.
I don't know.
Like, I don't mind Charlotte either. I just
me
feel
either.
Like,
but you know that you don't want that to happen, and I know that.
No, I do not.
I don't want it to happen either. But I just think it's going to happen. But regardless,
if I had to pick one person, and this is not because I am not an anti-Charlotte person, but if you had to ask me who's the one person you don't want to win the Royal Rumble match, I'd say Charlotte Flair
or Natty.
Well, yeah, but I like of the ones that you know are going to win, then I'd be like Charlotte Flair.
But I will say this: I'm pretty certain by the look on your face, you can go. When I said that, you were like, "Oh no, that is a possibility."
Oh yeah, because she's Charlotte Flair.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like when all else fails, pick Charlotte. Like that's their motto.
Yeah.
Hey, when all else fails, give it to Charlotte. Give it to Charlotte. You know. 100%. And I just feel like that's how they operate. So I wouldn't be shocked. And okay, so we have bonus points though.
Oh.
You pick 3 surprises.
Ooh, okay.
That aren't listed.
Okay.
And then you get a 1 bonus point. You get no points if you you don't lose points, but you get a bonus point
if you
nail any of them.
assuming that Raw's going to announce that Bliss is in it, that the SmackDown will probably announce that Xia Li's in it? I was assuming they're not technically surprises.
Yeah, I would say they wouldn't be surprises since they returned to television.
Okay, so I guess Bayley would be one.
Yeah, I have her as well.
I guess Asuka would be one.
I have her as well.
But you know what? I'll go left of field for the third one. I won't say Ronda because I'm not sold on that. I'm going to go with, actually, I'm going to go with the one that I've been wanting forever. By the way, I will preface this. I don't know. I know that there's been some spoilers of some people maybe entering. I have not read them because I don't want to know. I have seen an article that said like a couple of planned surprises and I haven't read them. But this is just something that you know that I'm not shitting you. I don't know if this has been one because, again, I don't read that kind of shit because I like to be surprised. I want Melina. I want Melina Perez in the Royal Rumble. And she's my third. Like, she could be a cool surprise that's never been in a Rumble. Like, I will say, apart from Summer Rae, all the people that have been listed in the surprises, the ones that have been announced, like the Hall of Famers and that, have all been in the Rumble besides Summer Rae. So Melina's never really been credited in any of this stuff throughout she never gets talked about. She's a former women's champion, former Divas champion. I know we've seen her a lot on NWA and recently in Impact. But I'd like to see Melina. Should we hear that music and get a nice reaction? I'd like to see Melina Perez. Come on.
That makes mine seem boring. But yeah, that's a good one. No, I picked Trish.
Well, Trish is stuck in Canada. She can't get away.
Oh God.
She's locked down.
There you go. See? So I already lost one.
I would assume that Trish would have been in this group if she could.
You think they would have announced her?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
If you announce Lita, you announce Trish. You know what I mean? Like they're 1-1. So it's like.
All right, I'll change it just for the hell of it. This is not going to happen, but I'll change it since she's locked down. I'm going to go with Medusa.
Oh fuck yeah! I would love Medusa to be in the Rumble. Fuck yeah!
I'm going to change it to Medusa.
And they would call her Alundra Blaze, but I refuse to call her Alundra Blaze.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Medusa is such a cooler name. I watch her streams on Twitch, and she's fucking awesome. What a badass woman. She was great. She was a pioneer of what we see now.
Oh, yeah.
Like, imagine Medusa in her peak wrestling all these people right now. Fucking hell, that would be awesome. But I would, if Medusa was in the Rumble, I would go off. I loved Medusa. She
Yeah.
was great.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, all right, cool. But we got very different
You
picks.
cool with that one?
Melina and Medusa are very different. Both M's. Look at that.
Yeah.
Both M's.
Both M's, yeah. And they both end with A. Anyway.
Oh, look at that.
So,
Sandwich. I think they have the same number of letters.
They do. Yeah,
No.
6 letters. 6-letter M, start with M, end with A. Medusa, Melina.
We didn't plan that, guys. We don't talk about shit.
They actually it's M. It's M-E. So it's just.
Or is it Medusa? Is Medusa M-A though? Doesn't she spell it M?
No, it's Medusa. Medusa.
Damn. All right. Great.
And then it's Melina, Melina. So they're pretty similar. But anyway.
Look at that.
Not similar in style or look.
They do not wrestle the same.
Very similar name. Just quick little,
Both had their impact.
Yeah, so and then we'll talk about the men's, and then we'll do that again for the men's in a little bit. So it's a nice little game.
The men's Royal Rumble. We have 15 at time of recording announced. We've got Angelo Dawkins, Montez Ford, Rey Mysterio, Dominic Mysterio, Austin Theory, Johnny Knoxville, Sheamus, Damian Priest, AJ Styles, Big E, Happy Corbin, Madcap Moss, Sami Zayn, Kofi Kingston, Kevin Owens. That's our 15 announced talent for the Royal Rumble match at time of recording. Omos is going to be in it, and a lot of people are probably going to be announced this week.
Chad Gable,
Otis, probably those kind of people.
All those.
But we can only do so much. This is our time of record. We can't help it. I'm sorry.
I'm going to pull up. I got to pull up the list again so I have everyone in front of me. This one's a lot. The men's Rumble. I don't know who's going to win either Rumble, but the men's Rumble seemed a lot more difficult to me.
I have no idea who's going to win this.
Yes,
let's talk about the variable in this, because the surprises really haven't been like the Hall of Famers and that coming back. Siri's talking to me. Shut the fuck up. Is like, it's easier to talk about in the sense because we don't have to go through as much. But the only person that I think is like the questionable, like, what the fuck's this about, is Johnny Knoxville. Seems to be in a program with Sami Zayn at the moment.
Sami Zayn.
There been some that was an interesting segment last week on SmackDown.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Listen,
Sami
Zayn is
does
great.
his best though. Sami's great.
I agree, but Sami has a very small list of them things that didn't work, and the Bobby Lashley sisters segments comes to brain because that was fucking atrocious. This one is probably going to be in that list one day because that cattle prod thing, whatever it's using, the very clear sound effect. The first one, I was like, was that a real noise? The last one, where Johnny Knoxville hit Sami Zayn with it, and then the sound kept going after he pulled away, I was like, oh no. Not great.
Yeah.
I guess it did its job in the sense of like it's meant to be silly, and Sami Zayn is very silly and over the top, and Johnny Knoxville is Johnny Knoxville. But not awesome. I know there's a Jackass movie coming out and stuff, but I don't really care. I'm not against celebrities. Calm down, everybody. I'm not one of those people that's like, fuck celebrities in wrestling. I understand the appeal. It is what it is. I don't really have that much to add to Johnny Knoxville. He's clearly not going to win the Royal Rumble. He will probably throw Sami Zayn out of the Royal Rumble, but
yeah, maybe. I hope not. But he's going to do one ridiculous spot,
and he's probably going to do a ridiculous spot with Omos. To be completely honest,
yeah,
because
that's
Omos
what I would
is
think.
Big,
yeah,
and he'll chuck
Omos
him.
is a monster. He can throw him. Yeah, he can throw him into something or throw him over, and that's what it'll be. There have been more names added to the men's.
Oh, okay.
So you have 15, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my list has 22. So Dolph Ziggler, Robert Roode. We have 3 tag teams that were added. Dolph Ziggler,
was this like today?
Robert Roode. It's according to, again, we're promoting the hell out of them, but according to Fightful.
Okay.
Yes. So there were the 15. You just listed the 15. I have that 1 through 15.
Mm-hmm.
16 is Dolph Ziggler. 17 is Robert Roode. 18 is Randy Orton. 19 is Matt Riddle. 20 is Chad Gable. 21 is Otis. And 22 is officially Omos.
Nothing surprises me there.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah. So we have 8. So we have 8
spots vacant.
Yes, correct.
There's a lot of talent that could fill that between now and now in the Rumble.
Yeah, I mean,
by the way, I will say, I know I'm not going to try and jinx it, but they have not announced number 1. They have not announced number 2. They have not announced number 30. Mm-hmm. Please, for the fuck's sake, please, I'm begging you, Do not tell me who's number 1. Do not tell me who's number 2. Do not tell me who's number 30. I don't want to fucking know. I said to you so many times, I wish they would announce nobody for the Rumbles and everybody was a surprise, because that's what I live for in the Rumble, is that I said this on Between Two Beards. I'm shilling for you guys on Unhinged.
Too.
I said I like the calmness after they say, now, blah, blah, you get thrown over, both feet hit the floor, and then it's like this, oh, and then they pan the crowd.
Yeah.
And then the music hits, and then someone comes out. I think I said Doink the Clown on Unhinged. But I want that. I'm not saying I want Doink the Clown. But, I want, that level of surprise. Please, Santa Claus is real. Let me believe. You know what I mean? That's how I kind of view the Royal Rumble, is that kind of feeling. So, just let me enjoy it, okay? You pieces of shit, don't tell me. But there's a lot of time. I will not stand by they're not announcing the Royal Rumble numbers, or 1 and 2 or 30, until literally the match starts, because they could announce it on socials, they could announce it on fucking ESPN at this stage, they could give it to a place to promote it. They're like that. So let's just hope they don't, and just let it kind of breathe, and that's what I'm hoping for. However, none of those names surprise me in that list, and whatever it may be. But let's get into our pool here, because this is fun to go through.
All right, this one is significantly tough.
Yeah, you're telling me.
First entrant. You want me to go first for the men?
You can go first, yeah, because I have no fucking clue.
All right. I have Sami Zayn. I have Sami Zayn as my first entrant. Continues. I know he's messing with Knoxville, but it continues the people have it out for me of the first entrant. Conspiracy, blah, blah, blah.
I think AJ.
Okay.
Because he's kind of not doing anything. And he's an Iron Man. He can wrestle for 60 minutes, and it doesn't, he's a guy that can do that. So, I think AJ. And AJ has only ever been in 2 Royal Rumbles, I think.
Yes.
He's been in them, obviously.
Other matches.
Yeah, he's obviously been in the, the first Royal Rumble he was in when he debuted.
Yes, that he debuted. Yeah.
And then he's been in the one with Edge coming back in 2020. Was he in last year's Rumble? I don't really remember last year's Rumble because it was in the Thunderdome. Maybe.
I don't remember a time. He might have been. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Probably. No, I don't think he was.
I have no idea.
I don't remember.
I can't remember.
Much,
I honestly don't. I remember the Bianca.
I don't watch those Rumbles back because it's in the Thunderdome and it's hard. So, he probably was more so. I'm leaning more toward. I don't know. Are you looking it up?
If he was in the Rumble?
Yeah.
Yes.
The beauty of that. By the way, guys, while we're filling in this time, in the next couple months, I'm doing up my front room of my house into a little podcast room with a lounge and a a couch, and it will have a whole setup. So you won't see me at a desk, guys. You're going to see me. My room's going to be all set up, and it'll be a little bit more of a free flowing kind of thing. So things in the next couple, it won't be for a little while, but I thought while I filled some time, I'm doing it's kind of like a pet project of mine that I'm not rushing. I'm just kind of setting up a whole wrestling room, guys, and it's going to just be all my knickknacks and all my Star Wars stuff, and it's just going to be everything in that room, and you'll get a nice little couch set up from me, so it's you can come chill when you listen to the Power Hour, watch the Power Hour. I do kind of suggest to you guys, by the way, watching this is probably better than just listening. I mean, it's a podcast, you can still listen, but I feel like getting our vibe a little bit more from video, but a lot of you seem to prefer to watch it than just listen, to be completely honest. So that's fine. But I thought I'd just chuck that out there. I don't know exactly how it's going to work or exactly when it's going to be, but it's a pet project that I'm kind of when I have time, I go and work on that room, but I'm making it perfect. But anyway, was he in the Rumble?
Yes, he was. He came in at number 25 last year in the Royal Rumble. Sick. And he was backed up by Omos, and he was eliminated by Braun Strowman.
Who the fuck's that? Okay, so I think AJ. He's a face. He's not really doing anything of too much value. Let's throw him in number 1. Why not?
Okay. Well, 30th entrant. This is going to give away one of my surprises. And it makes sense because we just mentioned him. But I think Braun Strowman is coming back at the Royal Rumble, and he will be number 30.
Okay, I haven't said this to you this whole time. No, thank you.
Yeah, that's fair. You don't have to like it, but I think that's what's happening.
I think number 30 will be one Big E.
It's a good one. Longest time in the Rumble. What, do you think this is easy?
For me, with what I'm just backing up with what I'm saying before is AJ.
Oh, yeah, AJ. Yeah, you got AJ. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I don't think
Matt Riddle.
Oh. Or who, sorry? His name's not Matt. His name
I'm sorry.
Riddle.
Riddle. I'm sorry, Riddle.
Bruh.
Should I cross out the Matt that I wrote down?
Yeah, bro.
Bro. Yeah, I'm going Riddle. I think he comes out single digits, maybe top 5, and he's a horse, man. He can go. So I think I could see him lasting a while.
Bro.
Shortest time. It's gonna be Johnny Knoxville.
Sami Zayn.
Oh man, oh god, he deserves better than that.
Plays into what he's doing. It'll probably be by Johnny Knoxville. I think it'll be like a run-in moment, like a Santino moment, where Sami Zayn runs in and Johnny Knoxville eliminates him straight away, and he's like, "What the fuck?" And then he can complain about that for the next 6 months.
It's fair.
Sami Zayn does not need to be in a program with anybody. Also, he is the number 1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship, so he'll get eliminated really fast. Then on SmackDown, he'll win the IC title because that's how this works.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I was going with Madcap Moss.
Who?
All right, most eliminations.
Omos.
That's a good one to pick.
They're really trying to build him as the giant guy, aren't they?
I also have Omos.
Do you say Omos?
I have Omos in the spot.
Omos. Omos. It's so
weird.
It's
Omos.
It's so
yeah,
weird.
Omos.
Omos.
Because they spell it O-M-O-S.
So it's
so
Omos.
I look at that and I say Omos.
Omos.
But they say Omos like it should be an A.
Why not just give him a normal
Omos.
fucking... Like, why not just give him something that's easier to fucking pronounce? Why not that?
Yeah. I don't know. I have Omos in that spot where he's going to probably get the most eliminations or close to the most eliminations, and he's going to be the guy that at one point 9 other guys eliminate.
Or they do that thing where someone is like on the ropes and then he runs and then they pull down the rope and he's like, "Oh, I'm so big."
Something like that. So you eliminate him without him. You know, if it takes 5 or 6 people to eliminate him, he looks strong. He doesn't have to win, and you know. All right, final 4 in the men's.
Oh, fuck me. Fuck me up. Big E, AJ Styles, Kevin Owens. And fuck off. I don't fucking know. Maybe... You know what? Actually, maybe someone who hasn't been announced. Maybe Jey Uso.
Okay.
Because, you know, it ties in. Maybe Roman will tell Jey this week on SmackDown, he's like, you have to win the Royal Rumble because when I'm Universal Champion...
I just had an epiphany.
Oh.
I just had an epiphany, and I think I want to change where I was going.
I had an epiphany about the women's... I have a bit of an epiphany about the women's Royal Rumble because I both realized we didn't mention Paige. And I have Paige in my brain.
That's
like a very possible surprise. I don't think she'll win the Royal Rumble, but like
that would be great.
But I think it's just an honorable mention to mention that Paige, if she comes back, it's going to be a big moment. But I'll just put that out there. But anyway, go on. I interrupted. I'm a piece of shit.
Well, where I'm leaning now would involve. Never mind.
Okay.
It would involve changing one of the earlier matches.
We'll get to that bridge in a minute. But yeah, final 4, I'll go Big E, Kevin Owens, AJ, and
Owens, and Jey Uso.
And Jey Uso, just for something different.
Okay. We're not terribly the same. I mean, we're not terribly. I have Big E as well. I have AJ as well. I have Kevin Owens as well.
So we're the same as the girls. We had 3 the same.
Yeah, but my 4th is I have Randy Orton.
Oh, it is St. Louis. It is St.
Louis.
Oh,
Randy Orton, 2-time winner.
He could match Austin as the only 3-timer.
He could. I don't think he's going to. I don't think they go that far. They're still the tag champs. No, are they? No, Otis and they're not anymore. Oh, it could be Randy.
Oh no! Fuck.
That's kind of like the same thing. Like,
I don't hate Randy Orton. I don't hate Randy, but I don't want Randy to win.
I don't either.
I like
That's
Randy.
exactly how I feel about Charlotte. I feel about Randy Orton the same way that I would view.
Okay, but all right. So here's the thing. So, you know what? Let's just go into winners, runners up, and let's just go into winners and runners up because I have the reason I'm so enamored that Seth Rollins is going to win is because Kevin Owens is going to win the Royal Rumble. And Kevin Owens
where I was leaning,
Seth
and
Rollins.
It goes that way, and then Roman jumps to Brock.
That's why I'm leaning that's why my heart is going, they're building up this Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins thing, and it's kind of
friendship. Kind of. Yeah. But is there a possibility that if what happens, and this is the match that I was thinking about changing, was Rollins to beat Roman. But I'm under the impression of, what if that happens and then Roman says, I'm entering the Royal Rumble, and Roman wins the Royal Rumble to go against Brock? Or vice versa. Let's say Bobby Lashley pulls off an upset and beats Brock, and then Roman retains and Brock enters the Royal Rumble and wins. You can get to Roman and Brock that way too, as opposed to just, you know what I mean? And then I would love Kevin Owens is my favorite person on the main roster. I would love Kevin Owens to win the Royal Rumble. But do you think that's more likely to happen than one of the other scenarios? I feel like if Roman loses, if we go by your pick and Rollins wins, I just feel like Roman entering the Rumble and winning the Rumble and being like, all right, I'm going for that. I'm going against that Brock. Going to get Brock. Isn't that a way to do that?
Yeah.
I would hope they would do something. Yeah.
I just think, here's my reasoning, by the way, I'll just say, with Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins, is because the Seth Rollins Kevin Owens friendship kind of come out of nowhere, didn't it? It was kind of like randomly they're friends, and now they're the best of friends and they're having this great time. Because I think there is a lot of time between Rumble and WrestleMania to build this story of Kevin Owens wins, Seth Rollins wins the Universal Championship, and Kevin's like, don't worry, dude, I'm not going to pick you. Don't worry, I'm going to go for the WWE Championship. And Seth's got this sense of security from his best friend Kevin Owens to be like, I'm good, tides is check. I'm king of the world. Roman's got stuff to do with Brock, blah, 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 blah. I'm good. There's nothing that can take this away from me. And then you do the build where Kevin Owens goes, you know what? I'm an MFer, and I'm going to choose you for the Universal Championship. Destroys him. We've got a Seth Rollins babyface real turn. Kevin Owens is a heel. You could go either way. And you get a great match at WrestleMania. They wrestled at WrestleMania a few years ago in front of no fans, and it was great. They could do that again, but this time with fans. So that's where my reasoning so heavily comes into Seth Rollins, because they kind of just built this story out of nowhere. And why I think Kevin Owens and Seth could be this great story that they're together, and they're like the Jericho Owens friendship. It could be great. But I just think where we're at is Owens and Rollins at WrestleMania. Now, when I say Owens and Rollins at WrestleMania, I couldn't imagine you, the wrestling person in you, would go, well, I don't want to see that. Couldn't imagine you.
No, I would love to see that.
Yeah,
I would love to
story.
See that.
It's
and
a
I would give Owens the belt. I would give Owens the belt at Mania.
Let's do that. And it's very WrestleMania-esque. It feels like a WrestleMania match. That's where my reasoning is at. Now, I am not confident on the men's Royal Rumble at all. By the way, just for pool's sake, I think the runner-up will be Big E, because I think they're still trying to get they don't want to completely get rid of Big E out of this picture, because I still think Big E will have a pretty prominent role at WrestleMania. And for some reason, I just thought of this. What about if Big E worked with AJ Styles or Edge at WrestleMania?
Yeah, I'd be okay with that. I'd be more than okay with that.
Gives Big E a nice Mania win.
I had Big E winning.
You see, I was leaning towards Big E. A couple weeks ago, I would have told you that Big E's winning, but This
Yeah,
Owens
like I have
thing,
Big E winning.
This
But
Owens
that
Rollins thing.
you're making sense. That's pretty good.
Come on.
I think my mentality was I can't envision Roman losing. So that changed. Like you have Roman losing heading into this Royal Rumble match, which changes. Yours is going to be drastically different from mine because I don't have Roman losing. You know?
Go with your heart though. Don't let me persuade you into thinking other things. If you think Big E's gonna win, fuck yeah.
Yeah, I had Big E. I had Big E eliminating Owens as the final two. So we had opposite.
Switched,
we had the same final two, but opposite. That's what I had.
Cool.
Which I'm keeping. All right. So then we have 3 surprises for the men. I have 3 good surprises. One of them I already mentioned, which I know you don't like the person, but I think that would be a pretty good pop and surprise. If you heard the
okay, like choo choo, here we fucking go. Here he comes. The literal train is coming.
I know. I want them to get rid of the train and bring back the old bro, like just that
choo
one.
Choo.
But the other 2 I like. I like where I went here.
You go, because I have no idea.
So I have Braun Strowman, Corey Graves.
Yeah.
And Tommaso Ciampa.
Sure.
I think Ciampa just lost the NXT title.
Yeah, sure.
He's got I think it's time. I think it's time. So those would be
okay.
Again, these aren't John Cena coming back after not seeing him for 8 months or whatever. Like The Rock. They're not that level.
I'll go one the same because I do think Corey Graves will be in the Rumble. Corey Graves is one. I think Braun Breaker is going to be. Braun Breaker is the NXT champion. Right. I think will be in there, and I think they have a lot of stock in Mr. Breaker, to be completely honest with you. They seem to really like him. Third surprise,
at one point, he was in my short list of people who could win this.
I know you said that. I remember. And I think maybe I'm going to try and go left of field. Let's go with someone that maybe isn't on anyone's radar of being in the Royal Rumble. Let's go with... I'm trying to think of some people here, dude. Like, that's like...
Right, it was tough. The men. That's why mine were like nothing crazy, because I was like, well, I'm at a hard time thinking of like who would be the one that would literally be out of nowhere.
Last year we had like Carlito come back. Remember, it was like a mid-card guy that like everyone loved. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go left of field. I don't know if this is possible. I don't know if this person still wrestles. I don't give a fuck. It's a Rumble. I'm going to go with Mr. Kennedy.
Oh, all right. That's a good one.
Probably won't happen.
I almost picked Gangrel as one of mine because Edge has been doing the Brood stuff. Yeah, Edge has been doing the Brood stuff. So I was like, Gangrel better be in this Royal Rumble. But
yeah, Mr. Kennedy. Why not? Imagine if that happened. I'd go off. He did the whole mic spot and got tossed out. You know, you don't have to be an active wrestler to be in the Rumble. You can just kind of come in and it's a Rumble. It doesn't matter. But yeah, why not? Why not, Mr. Kennedy? Throw something out and see if it sticks. It's exciting though. Man, oh man, it is fun talking about this and having all the possible scenarios because there's 30 people in the Rumble and there's a group of them that could win either one, which is a good thing because sometimes you go into Rumbles, you're like, that person's winning and there's no question about it. I'm not 100% sold on this person is definitely winning. This is just my thought and my process going into it. And by the way, when we about to watch Raw, we will sit down and go, fuck, all of my picks are different now. So get ready for that.
Yeah, it's inevitable.
But it's going to change. It'll change right up until the match starts for me. Of like, these are my final picks. This is what I'm feeling. Because sometimes I just wake up on that day and go, I have a gut feeling about this person. Or I start to get in my own head of being like, well, that can't happen. And then I go, what about if this person... And in that 60 plus minutes of each of those matches, I'm going to be happy, sad, angry, all of the emotions. Because I'm like, this person got thrown out too quick. This person's lasted too long. Why is this person still in? Where the fuck is Bailey? Where the fuck is Braun Strowman? Where the fuck are all these people? Where's Mr. Kennedy? What the fuck's going on? Like, that's me in a Rumble. I stand up. I'm like, let's fucking go. Like, it's the only time in wrestling where I don't sit down. I'm up and running around. It's like, it's just the best time. I cannot wait. The more I think about it, the more I get excited. Like, it's getting closer.
I'm very excited. I will probably, I've been watching some sporadically over the last couple of weeks, but I will probably try to go out of my way and watch at least one Royal Rumble match every night this week.
So my Friday night this week, we're the same group of people that are watching the Rumble with me here, getting together on Friday night, having a couple of drinks, having a barbecue.
Nice.
And we're watching Rumbles. That's what we're doing. And we're going to play a heap of the WWE games and play a heap of Rumbles in the old games and kind of just have a good time on Friday
Oh,
night. So
good.
that's
such a blast. It's going to be such a blast.
I get the more and more I think about it, the more I can't get the smile off my face of like, this is the only time in wrestling where I don't have to persuade people to come and watch. Like, it's just like, they're like we're going to be there. Yeah. Like, this is the best time. And like, you know, it's fun. It's just a fun time. Before we wrap things up, we've been going a long time, and I'm glad we talked about the Rumble first, because we can just kind of breeze through a few little things of like classic Rumble memories and moments. But I mean, there's so much, like when it comes to the Rumble itself and the Rumble event, like the first thing that comes into my brain for one of my favorite pay-per-views ever, one of my favorite Royal Rumble events ever, with a historically pretty bad Royal Rumble, but a great card, Rumble 2000, the street fight with Triple H and Cactus, the tag team tables match with the Hardys and the Dudleys. That's the year that I believe The Rock won the Royal Rumble. He eliminated the Big Show at the very end.
Yeah, but there was controversy afterwards, right? Didn't Big Show say like we went out at the same time? Yeah.
It was
that Rumble
that Rumble itself was.
That was at Madison Square Garden.
Mm-hmm. Sellout at Madison's MSG. I mean, when you talk about like great Rumble matches on a Rumble card, how can you not talk about Triple H and Cactus Jack street fight? It's truly one of the best street fights of all time. That pedigree into the tax is disgusting. And just
real bad.
There's like Triple H. I don't know why I remember this, but there was like a bit of the pallet, like the wooden pallet, that broke and went into Triple H's like calf muscle, and it was like bleeding a lot.
Yes, I do remember.
And I don't know why, out of all the spots in that match, all this crazy shit that happens, like that's happening. It's kind of like the end of Cactus. You know, well, I know he retired and come back like 400 times because that's Mick Foley in general, but like of his active run within WWE, like that was coming to the end. We're going into the Hell in a Cell, but just the atmosphere that, again, the reason I love 2008 Rumble is because of that little setup of MSG before it got revamped. With that kind of, it was truly like a square, and it was kind of, you know, it was different. It was little. I like that kind of compactness of it. And I mean, the tag team tables match, where we're going with, you know, in hindsight with TLC and everything like that, it was in peak tag team wrestling in WWE of like the Hardys, the Dudleys, Edge and Christian, all of these others that were just kind of killing it. I think that is my favorite Royal Rumble event ever, but just that Rumble match is pretty average. You obviously, as a wrestling fan, it's hard to not remember Royal Rumble 2000.
I mean, that was the tag match with the Hardys and the Dudleys is what sticks out to me the most. Just I loved everything that and Edge and Christian obviously were involved a lot in the history of all that era of tag team. I loved anything that those three teams did with each other all the time. Doesn't matter if it was a regular tag match, tables match, ladder match, TLC. Those three teams to me are three of the best 3 or 4 or 5 teams of all time. And like that whole era, like those were the matches that I was waiting for the most that whole time was those matches. Mm-hmm. I remember The Rock winning with the Big Show, but I don't remember that Royal Rumble match too specifically, the 2001.
Watched it not that
long ago. We're talking about
it's not right.
One I just watched yesterday, that was one of the better ones, was 2002.
Triple H won that
fantastic. Triple H won that fantastic moment with Austin and Triple H and the Hurricane.
Is that the was that the year that Maven eliminated Taker, or was that the year after?
Maven also eliminated The Undertaker and then got the royal piss beat out of him. Like an all-time beating. That was another all-time moment. First of all, that is The Undertaker. And The Undertaker, that's how you know he's a company man through and through, because they went, hey, Taker, we want to try to get this kid over here where he's going to eliminate you in the Rumble. And he was like, all right, cool, yeah, I'll allow this to happen. Because if Undertaker was strong enough and was like, no, Vince would have been like, okay, we'll do something else. Like Vince would like Taker was like
generic
one. Yes,
Maven,
exactly.
Sorry,
Taker.
Sorry, CFG streams. I know they love Maven, but
Maven. Okay. Hey, Maven
is a heel with a great character.
Undertaker.
Maven was great as a heel, but he eliminated. I remember that 2002 Rumble is so
and
good.
then there's just the Austin. He had done it earlier in the 97 Rumble, kind of his coming out party a little bit. But Austin had that sequence when he came out and eliminated everybody, and he was on the turnbuckles looking at his wristband like it was a watch, like, and the crowds. And then he eliminates a few more guys, and then it's Triple H comes out, and it's Austin and Triple H.
And I think that was like
they're
Triple
the two
H
guys.
just come back from tearing his quad.
Oh yeah,
one of the biggest.
He left as a heel.
Come back as
he left as a heel and came back as one of the biggest pop baby faces.
That MSG
ever.
comeback at the very beginning of 2002,
all timer.
There's not many crowd reactions that are louder than that. Like, and it's 100%. Just consistent. Like, it's just like, it is just.
It's like it's literally like 6 minutes long. And JR and the King, and he talked about it on one of his podcasts with Conrad recently. Yeah, JR and the King, like the King started talking right at the beginning, and he was doing his King flipping out, and JR, he said he like hit him in the leg, like, just let this happen. And they just sat there in silence and just let that pop.
That is just
it's just
if someone come up to me and said that's the loudest reaction I've ever heard, I'd go, I'm not going to argue you.
Yeah, it was amazing, and
him
they were the two big guys at the moment.
Triple H was on the trajectory to the Undisputed Championship. That's where we were headed.
Correct.
I don't think anyone. I don't really remember being in that. Obviously I watched it, and I was definitely watching wrestling by this point. But I don't really remember where my head. I was a child, so I was like, whatever. But if I was watching that now, I think it was pretty clear that Triple H was probably going to be the guy to win the Royal Rumble, which is not sometimes again. Not all predictability means bad. It just means that's where we're headed.
No.
We went to Triple H and Jericho at WrestleMania 18 in what shouldn't have been the main event, but was the physical main event. But the main event of that show was Rock and Hogan, which it should have been went on last. But, it is what it is. But, it is. That is a great Rumble. I've mentioned 2008 Rumbles a lot. I love that Rumble. That Cena moment coming back is huge. Like, we did not think Cena was going to come back at that time. You probably weren't watching wrestling at that time. JPJ, you probably dipped out.
No, that was when I was kind of dipped out. I was kind of dipped out a little bit there.
He got hurt.
But I've seen it. I've gone back and seen it. I've watched it. Yeah.
He got hurt in October, tore his pec, and was back literally 2.5 months later at the Royal.
Yeah, and they said when the injury happened, they said it was an 8-month to a year injury. And he was going to be out for a while.
And he was fine. He was ready to come back.
And that was unbelievable.
I remember being legitimately. There's not a lot of times in wrestling where we're legitimately like, had no idea. Like, there was no rumblings of John Cena being in the Royal Rumble, and he comes back and he wins the Royal Rumble. That's a great moment. I think if we're talking Rumbles, we'll kind of tie things up in a second, but we have to talk about the two that kind of stick out in my brain. That's AJ Styles coming in 2016, because what the fuck, AJ Styles and Edge. We have to say Edge because.
I was going to say the 2020 Men's Rumble in general.
Fantastic.
I think is another one of those real top notch.
Fantastic.
Well, the Lesnar stuff in the first dozen or so of he had a moment with Kofi, which was really good because after he beat Kofi in the 6 seconds, he had a moment with Keith Lee, which now in hindsight obviously didn't matter, but at the time,
big boy.
That was a moment. He's like, oh, big boy. Lesnar's doing. Big boy. And it's like, oh, hey, that's a WrestleMania match in the future. I guess not.
Where he
Drew, when Drew eliminates him, that crowd becomes unglued. And Booker T himself on commentary, he just screams like, oh, like he just can't, and Booker. The crowd's blacking out. He doesn't even have words.
It's so weird how that wasn't the loudest reaction of the night. Like, how could you get louder than that? And
but that place exploded, and then Edge coming back at 20, I think he was number 20. 21, yeah. Him coming back after 9 years.
I legitimately cried.
Man. And when he walks through the fog and you can see like the emotions on his face and he takes that deep breath and he's like looking at the crowd and it looks like he's about to cry. It's like, holy, like he never thought he'd be there. He never thought he'd be there.
I don't know why. When you remember weird little details about certain things and you don't know why you remember. Yeah. All I remember about that day is like where my TV was in my house. Like I had it in a certain spot. I remember being kind of huddled around of like, there was rumblings of Edge. We're like,
yes.
But there was probably more part of me that was like, it's not going to happen than it is going to happen. But there was that part of me that like, imagine if it does. Like, imagine if you think you know me. But as we're progressing through the Rumble, because that Rumble is very segmented into like the Brock part and then the non-Brock part. And I guess the non-Brock part was more of the traditional Royal Rumble. And when Edge's music hit, I just remember it was really hot because it's summertime here when the Rumble airs, and it was really hot. And I remember just being like sweating because I'm like into the Rumble, excuse me, and just kind of going with the paces. And then that You Think You Know Me hit, and the people in my house just kind of went like, like,
yeah.
And there was no like initial, even if it was just for a few seconds of nothing, I was kind of like, and then we all just kind of went like, what the fuck? And then it was just like, this crazy emotion, like all of us. I'm not saying I'm different from any other wrestling fan. Everyone had that. We seen the reactions from people that filmed themselves and just like Twitter. Yeah. I just remember Twitter being like, like, holy fucking shit.
Yeah.
I stay off of Twitter for the most part. I don't live tweet the Royal Rumble because I like to be in the moment, especially in the Rumble matches. I kind of dip in, but I remember being like, I have to open my phone right now and just see, just see what is going on, because a lot of people shit on WWE, and that's fine. You have a right to, and you have a reason to, but like in those moments, we just forget everything, and it's like, this is just about that. And then I just remember being instantly angry that they missed the first spear. I was like, all your camera cuts that you do, and you didn't fucking get that one. What the fuck?
I know.
I was pissed.
It was so terrible. Like such a great moment, and they were like, you got to do your stupid camera cut and completely miss. Not like the next biggest moment is him hitting the spear. Like, what? Yeah. Come on, guys.
But I mean,
just that moment in general was just
there's
incredible.
Not much to really say on that other than.
And then
like,
Drew winning. Shit. Drew got a huge pop for winning. Like that's just a great Royal Rumble. And I thought last year's women's Royal Rumble was really good too. I know it's in the Thunderdome, so it'll always be looked at a little differently because of that. But I thought Bianca coming in at 3 and Bianca winning. And I thought Bianca and Rhea Ripley being the last two was very cool because it was like, yeah, this is the future here, guys. Like these two are the future. And Bianca winning was awesome. So, yeah, man, I just love the time.
Okay,
I love the Royal Rumble time.
This is a real thing that's happening. I don't know if my iPad's going to pick up on the screen, but we're recording into Raw. And Brock Lesnar is let's see.
He's wearing a suit?
He's wearing a cowboy hat. You can't really see.
Oh my God. Is that like what kind of, oh, look at that.
I know it's kind of hard to see in the perspective of that.
I'm not going to lie to you. He looks like Lars Sullivan in that just because of the glare on the TV.
Oh my God. They called it, WWE posted this 10 minutes ago at time of recording. Red Brand Redemption 2. That's what they tweeted. Shut the fuck up.
Red Brand. What is it? Red Brand
Redemption 2. I guess it's like Red Dead. I don't fucking know. There's a US title match on Raw with Kevin Owens. That's going to be interesting. This is all irrelevant to you guys right now because you've already seen all this. But I was just kind of looking on Twitter just to see if they announced any more names, just so we don't look like idiots. But it's just Brock and Roman stuff. I do see all those new announcements of those people that you listed within the Rumble and blah, 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 blah. I think we need to tie this up because we've nearly been going for 2 hours.
It's still going to be fantastic.
We're just ready. Good. We're so excited for the Rumble and we're so excited for this. Next week, we could be saying very different things because who knows what will happen.
Yes, we could.
But,
yes, we could.
We're just genuinely, the last couple of days have been like pumped to talk about the Rumble because I've kept a lot of thoughts in my brain because I was saving it for this. And it's exciting, dude. I'm just ready for the Rumble.
I'm so pumped.
I'm just so excited to be like not reliant on like sitting down on my phone for the entirety of a pay-per-view because I get bored. Like I'm just going to be here. I mean, I'm going to be lively. Like it doesn't matter. Like, you know what I mean? Like everything else is just like for those few hours that the Rumble's on. It's just like, let's fucking do this. Let's fucking go.
Yeah,
you know
so
what I
ready.
mean? Like
I'm so ready.
I'm pumped.
I'm probably, I think, I know this will probably be the first time that in real time, I'll probably be messaging you throughout the event. Like, oh my God, this is incredible.
Yeah.
Like, oh my
we don't usually do that. We usually just save it and we talk about it after. But
yeah, exactly.
Like, if something happens, like, I know if
like I get so jacked up with the Rumble that I'm like, oh, I just like message everybody. I'm like, yes,
just get it off your chest. Like, it's just,
yeah, exactly.
We might even, I'm sure Love Wrestling will be doing stuff, post Rumble and Rumble Reacts and stuff. I'm sure someone somewhere will be doing something. Who knows? Maybe we'll even pop up on certain platforms or different people's shows. Like, hey, they're doing a,
you never know.
You never really know. Maybe I'll do something. I don't know. But what I do know is that it's going to be, regardless, win, lose, or draw of anything, it's going to be a fun time. And it's going to be a lot to talk about going into that Rumble. It's like it's like literal Christmas for me. It's like,
it really is.
Because the Rumble's on in the morning for me. I'll go to bed on Saturday night. Well, Saturday night for me because it's on a Sunday morning. I'll go to bed on Saturday night and be like, I can't sleep because I'm too excited to wake up for the Royal Rumble. It's like a kid on Christmas Eve. You know what I mean? Like, I genuinely just get really, really pumped. I just get pumped up for the Royal Rumble. So,
I am very pumped.
Please, for the life of me, everybody, I don't think I have to drill this into anyone's head because most people do. Enjoy the Rumble for what it is. Just be excited. Allow yourself to enjoy what they're offering and just dive into it and just enjoy the Royal Rumble. It's the only time of the year that this happens. And now the beauty of having a women's Royal Rumble and a men's Royal Rumble is we get it twice. We get 60 entrants, and it's the best thing in the world. So more surprises, more fun, more history to be broken. And the one thing that I am holding off and cannot wait to watch is when WWE bring out that by the numbers video where they go through all the stats. It literally nearly makes me erect. I get excited. I can't wait to watch that, and I am in. The more I talk about it, the more I'm like, oh,
you get excited, right? Yeah, exactly.
Rumble mode. It's the Royal Rumble Extravaganza for a reason, and then we're on the road to WrestleMania. It's WrestleMania season, and we're here again.
This is the exciting, specifically when it comes to WWE. This is
and a lot of indie shows too, because they kind of book.
Yeah, because they always go. Yeah, and I would like to think that the other companies that are on television know that this is the big time of year for WWE, so the competition will also raise their game as well. Like this calendar, this has been the most important time of the wrestling calendar my whole life is Rumble to Mania. Like that's when everything matters the most. So, yeah, man, I'm ready. I'm good. I'm excited.
So to wrap this up. I guess we'll call this the J&J Power 2-hour special.
I guess so, yeah.
To wrap this up, if you had to pick one person that you associate with the Royal Rumble, who is that one person that you associate with? You can go Royal Rumble, Mr. Royal Rumble, or Mrs. Royal Rumble, whatever you want to go, we have Sean as Mr. WrestleMania. Who is Mr. Royal Rumble?
You know what? There's only one 3-time winner. And you're wearing his shirt right there. Stone Cold Steve Austin is the guy that I think about. Same for me
as well. He is the name that I associate with the Royal Rumble the most.
Yeah. I think Mick Foley could make an argument as well.
I think Randy Orton could probably make an argument as well. But I think
for the moments,
Mr.
Mick Foley,
Survivor Series is Randy Orton, to be completely honest.
I agree. Yeah. I have Orton as my Survivor Series. Michaels is WrestleMania. I have, who has the most wins in the history of the SummerSlam pay-per-view? That's Triple H.
Because Triple H has a pretty poor WrestleMania record, but he has a really good.
He does, not great. Yeah, he's been very generous with his WrestleMania builds, but
except against
I think
Sting.
Stone Cold. Stone Cold sticks out to me. You can make an argument for Shawn Michaels too. He went back to back. One of them, he was number one and made it all the way through. Stone Cold is the guy for me.
Austin is the guy for me as well. He is Mr. Royal Rumble. He's the guy that's had 3 wins, nearly a triple back to back, but not quite. One in the middle he missed. But come the fuck on. It's Austin. It's Austin's match until potentially Randy Orton gets there, and
Randy Orton this year maybe. Yeah.
If that happens, I'll be sending you a very strongly worded message saying, excuse me.
Yeah, so you can send, if that happens, you can send me a strongly worded letter, and if Charlotte wins, I'll be sending you a strongly worded letter.
Deal?
Yeah, there we go.
But guys, we're going to say goodbye for this week. Make sure we're not going to, listen, it's all things Royal Rumble this week. As you probably have seen on my Twitch this week, by the time this airs, I'm doing a lot of Royal Rumble stuff. I'm doing a playthrough of the Royal Rumble event over on my Twitch. JPJ's got Between Two Beards. He's got a guest this week, I believe.
Billy Starks.
There you go. See? Look at
So
that.
17 years old, just got announced for a match with
17.
Deonna Purrazzo. So
17 years
up
old.
and comer.
She's
17 already. Like she was in the PWI 500, the one that has the men and women in there, and she was also in the 150. Only 17.
Young baby right there. She's the
future
baby
of women's professional wrestling.
Literally.
Yeah.
So you got that coming up. Are you doing Weekend Elite Report this weekend? Probably not, I would assume.
We are not. No. That is we won't be doing that. We'll probably Pluggo and I want to do some Royal Rumble coverage, but we have the guest on Thursday, so we'll probably do a run-in at some point and maybe talk a bunch of stuff. Talk some Rumble, talk some Dynamite, and then knowing us, we'll probably talk some American football for a little bit because this past weekend of games was maybe the greatest weekend in the history of the sport. So it was wild.
Only thing that I got to say is thanks for watching The Legacy of Dr. Britt Baker DMD.
Fantastic, by the way. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Real good.
So thank you for watching that. Thank you for giving that some love. Legacy of is back in the swing of things Monday. Oh, well, Monday my time. Sunday night for a lot of you guys. The Legacy of the Divas Championship, which will be interesting coming off of the Rumble. Because there's a lot of former Divas champions within the Rumble. It's really... That Rumble is an open love letter to the Divas era of WWE. There's a lot of... Actually, I think every single one of those women, except with the exception of Lita and Summer Rae, were all Divas champions. I think.
I believe so. Yeah.
I think.
I believe you're right there.
But the Legacy of the Divas Championship. So if you haven't seen Legacy of... we're collaborating. I've got a whole little team of people working under me. I've got an editor... Sam, you can go follow him, Sam the VA mod. And my sister does all these drawings, and it got a lot of love from Britt Baker this week because, I mean, she can draw. So why not include it in some wrestling stuff and get her a little bit of shine as well. And to be included in that, add some visual art to the Legacy of. She's got a great one coming up for the Legacy of the Divas Championship.
Nice.
And we're just kind of going with it and adding some more layers to the Legacy of. So, yeah, thanks for all the love on that because JPJ knows this. I put a lot of effort into this comeback, and I really wanted it to be cool and something different and something that can really help grow Love Wrestling. That's my main thing that I'm saying with Love Wrestling is I want to see Love Wrestling grow. It's less about me and more about Love Wrestling, but just to grow the Legacy of is fun. And I guess by the time this airs, you'll know because it will be out. I'm also a part of Fightful Overbooked, so that's kind of fucking cool because I've got a show on there with Joel. You look like you're about to say something.
It won't be out by the time this airs, but I am also a member of Fightful.
I think we're allowed to say, Joel did say that we're allowed to say.
I think we are. They announced it. Yeah.
So
I don't know if he's announced everyone individually.
He hasn't yet, but by the time this airs, you'll know that I'm on there.
You'll know what I'm doing hasn't been announced yet, but me and Josh work for Love Wrestling. We do this. I feel, so you might see me popping up on
Joel did say to me in our conversation the other day, like, you are welcome to say something, but I wanted to wait. But by the time this airs, you'll know that I'll be a part of Fightful Overbooked.
The content has already started this week on Fightful Overbooked, so it's out there. So I think I feel safe with us announcing this by the time it comes out on Thursday.
And hey, if we're not allowed to say, we'll just get kicked off. So don't fucking worry.
Just it's cool. Whatever.
We'll avoid that sentence. But Fightful Overbooked. I'm working. It's so weird to say that we're a part of the Fightful brand in some ways. That's like
but it's a bigger audience, you know. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's a bigger audience. I'm very excited. Once it's announced, I'm gonna let Joel announce it.
Yeah,
but the project that I'm working on with him, I'm very excited about. I think it's gonna be something different and something very fun and something that people will go out of their way to check out. So I'm looking forward to it. So keep your eyes peeled.
I agree to that sentence, by the way. Something really different and fun for me as well on there. And, Joel's great. So Also, I know I've said I'm going to wrap this up so many times, but we would be silly not to mention coming off of wrestling, that festival in Las Vegas for when we were young. The music festival, the emo kids, wet dream.
So, oh my god, dude, I was frantically when that released. I was like, this can't be real.
I thought it was fake.
I know that there's a lot of rhetoric that people think it's fake. You think it's fake?
No, it's not fake.
They announced the second day. The bands.
They announced the third day today. JPJ. It is a 3-day event. It is a 3-day event. I just seen it on there. That's why I'm bringing it up. It is a 3-day event now with the same lineup for 3 days in a row.
See, here's what they need to pivot. What they need to do is they need to open this puppy up and make it a 3-day festival and layer. You got to layer.
I agree.
This should have been just hey, this is a weekend emo pop punk festival. All you old 30-year-old white people like me and you younger 25 old white people that were sad when you were younger, come watch this. This is your
dude. When I seen the lineup, I was like this is headlined.
Retreat. This is like a spiritual retreat.
Seen so 3 out of my 5 favorite bands ever on this.
It's like festival. My Chemical Romance, Paramore.
They're the headliners. So that's a co-headlining by. If you don't even need to say anything else, My Chemical Romance and Paramore are the fucking epitome of that era of music. Paramore had a fucking song for Twilight. Like, come the fuck on. Yeah. Like, this is ridiculous that they're even involved in this. You got Avril Lavigne. You've got you've got AFI. You've got Jimmy Eat World. You've got Bring Me the Horizon.
Bright Eyes.
Bring Me the Horizon.
The Used is there. Taking Back Sunday. Dashboard Confessional.
Paris, who I love. They're one of my favorite bands ever.
Yeah. Then like for some of the heavy, the Starting Line is there. For some of the heavier stuff, you have Census Fail, Silverstein, Knocked Loose. Like there's so many. Hawthorne Heights is there. 4 Year Strong, Local Boys. They're really good if you like pop punk.
Story of the Year there.
Story of the Year. Yeah, Story of the Year. The Story So Far is there. One of my favorite current pop punk bands. Then you have dude, everyone is there. Thursday, one of my all-time Acceptance. What the hell are we doing?
If I went to that show, I wouldn't
All American Rejects.
I wouldn't know what to, obviously, obvious reasons I'd be going to watch Paramore and Bring Me the Horizon I love and Paris I love.
This is one of the things we were talking because this came out and all my friends, we all were message each other immediately and we were like, bro, like what are we going to Vegas in October for? Is this what we're doing?
I said to my brother, I said, Dylan,
there's your reason to come to America.
I was like,
I
don't care that we're in a pandemic. I'm like, let's try and go to this. And then we seen the ticket prices and we're like, let's not try to go to this. Because that would cost me a fortune to get over there, plus flights and accommodation. But I'm not even actually joking when we're saying we were actually considering it. Because I will say this. Once in a lifetime.
I will say this on record. I would love to go. The tickets are pricey. I'm not a huge fan of that. It's a pricey ticket.
I mean,
if they announced that they were showing this on a streaming service,
I'd give them my money.
And it was like $100, I'd fucking buy it. I'd fucking buy it in a second.
In a heartbeat.
A second.
Dude, my favorite band ever's on there. I'm buying it. And that means that both My Chemical Romance and Paramore are going to have new music by the time this comes out.
They could at the very this was another conversation, and I know we're trying to get out of here, but this was another conversation that me and my friend said. We said, do you think they're going to come out and play new things, or do you think they know why they're there and they're going to play like
Paramore have openly said that they're recording a 6th album. Like I'm sure you've seen that all over my timeline. It's all I posted.
I did.
It's like Paramore have openly said we're making a 6th album and we're pretty well into the recording process. By the time October rolls around, they have to have new music to promote to be on this festival. They have to. There'd be cool it's play, but they are playing. That Paramore have said, this is a heavier album. We're kind of going back to our roots with a lot of things. And I'm pretty certain that means Paramore's making an emo album again. So you love that. But Haley said that she said Taylor's a beast on guitar and producing and Zach's just allowed to go crazy on the drums.
I'm gonna listen to it anyway.
Obviously I think I'll be checking it out. I think I'll be waiting up until that thing comes out and drops so I can be like I think Paramore could do a shit on and just record it and I'd be like, this is the greatest thing I've ever heard at this stage. I'm biased, but like to see all of that and just there's a little part of me that's like, Avril fucking Lavigne is there.
Oh my god, she would. So here's the thing, like it's one of those things where you're gonna have to make some choices.
Oh yeah.
Especially if you're only there for one day, if you only did one day, you're gonna have to miss some people you don't want to miss. You're gonna have to make choices.
I don't think I can go against Avril.
No.
I would have to see.
And like it's one of those things where I'm a fan of Avril Lavigne, but she's probably not in my top
Oh, she's not in mine either. But
list,
like,
right?
come the fuck on.
Yeah, but you have, if you have the opportunity to see, you got to
go see Complicated and Skater Boy and all of those songs and be like,
I'm with you, man. If she played I'm With You,
Nobody's Home for me.
I'd black out.
My god. Oh my god, what a song.
I'm With You. Every time it's still in my regular rotation. Every time I'm here, I'm like, she was 15 when she wrote this song.
I'm With You.
I'm like, what the hell?
A damn cold night.
Fantastic. I don't know who you are, but I'm with you. I'm like, all right, fair, dude. Let's go. No, what a great song. She wrote that shit when she was 15 years old.
I don't know who you are, but I'm.
And then she flips the switch at the end and she does the extra. And she loses it. Fantastic.
Oh, great, that's a great shower song, by the way. If you just want to get down in the shower, not get freaky. I'm not saying having sex.
No, but like that'd be weird. Lay the shower singing. You know?
Everyone can sing in the shower. I should start a band when I'm in the shower. Of course. Oh my god, what a time!
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's one of the ones where you put on and you just blast it, and you can be as loud as you want. The beauty of living alone. It's great. But yeah, that festival is just
fantastic.
Out of this world, and I wish. It makes me very sad that we're in a pandemic. It also makes me I'm never sad when I live in this country, really, but it's a long way away.
That's something. Yeah, it is.
It just gives me that era of music. We've talked about it many times.
That's my bread and butter. That's my
jam.
That's the era that's the type of music that I still listen to the most. I jive with that. That festival was built for people like you and me. That was like, hey, I feel like they went in there and they said, hey, this is guy that lives in Massachusetts. His name's JPJ. If we're going to make a festival for him, what are we going to do? And they were like, this festival. And I was like, all right. It has the heavier bands I like, the pop punk bands. It has the poppy band. Everyone I've ever liked.
And then
from
Avril is like the cherry on top.
And then Avril friggin' Lavigne. And I'm like, cool, dude.
She is like the most, she is the epitome of mainstream rock, pop, punk music. Like, she is the epitome. And if you say emo band, you immediately go, My Chemical Romance. Oh, I go,
My Chemical
Romance.
But Dashboard's there,
And then you say, like, what if you wrote down a soundtrack to 2009, what are the bands that you would include? Paramore.
Yep.
Yep. And
Taking Back Sunday.
The fan in me that loves Paramore, to see them headline a festival like this is like, it's everything. They've truly made it. They're headlining a festival with all of these bands underneath them. Them and My Chemical Romance. I wouldn't put My Chemical Romance or Paramore as like one over the other. They're like the headliners. And then, they're on the top of the poster. I've seen many festivals with Paramore is on it, and they're just in the middle. And now to see them up top, I'm like, the fanboy in me is going crazy. And they're coming out with new music. It's going to be a great year. I can't wait. We have gone way over. This is like the longest episode we've ever done, but it's fine. Who gives two shits? Who gives two shits?
I agree.
We needed it. We're all on my time. And I don't give a fuck. I click end record when I want to click end record. But we've gave our plugs. We've gave all our stuff. Enjoy the fucking Royal Rumble. And if you can get hands on the tickets to go to When We Were Young, just do it.
Do it.
Just don't think about it. Just do it. JPJ, you live there.
I do.
Just try and do it, dude.
Yeah, I know I should. Damn it.
You're going to regret it.
Now that they know there's going to be a third day, I'm like, I can't.
I just seen it then. I didn't look at the details. I just seen that it's the same lineup.
All right. Well, I'm going to look into that. And
go to Vegas. You've been to Vegas once. Go to Vegas again.
I have. Yeah.
I'll be pissed at you if you don't go, because you need to go for me as well. And you better get your ass and go see Paramore, because I'll be pissed if you don't.
Oh, come on. Yeah, I know. That's going to be tough, though, because I would assume they're going to be playing against My Chemical Romance. I would pick Paramore still. I would pick
you better take all the fucking.
No, I would regardless of your influence. I would pick Paramore if they were together and it's like you got to pick one. I would be going Paramore.
And you better be ready to do an open review of that festival.
I would be sending you videos. I'd be sending you videos and all sorts of.
I'll probably sit there and watch them and cry as soon as I seen Paramore there. I'll be like, and Paris and Bring the Horizon and all.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a whole ton of
AFI.
bands. I would be like, this is incredible. So,
AFI when they play Miss Murder, and I'll be like, why? Why can't I?
Boys
go
Like
to-
Girls,
Oh my
if you remember
God,
them,
I
they're on
remember
there. They're
them.
from Boston. Yeah, they're on there. Oh my
The
God,
only thing that could make that
everyone.
festival any better is if it was like All Time Low and like Sum 41. Like, why? I wish they were there. But like,
what about like Good Charlotte? You get Good Charlotte and Simple Plan.
oh my God,
Do you remember a band called Forever the Sickest Kids?
No,
Do you remember them at all?
No.
You don't remember Forever the Sickest Kids? Maybe they're
Simple Plan, I remember, and Good
Simple
Charlotte.
Plan?
Oh my God, Simple Plan.
Oh my God,
Simple
So,
Plan. If you
Simple
just
Plan.
go somewhere on vacation.
Yeah. I'm just a kid. I'm just a kid, and life is a nightmare.
That song, I wake up, it was 7. I waited till 11 just to figure out that no one would call.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's like, oh,
it's fantastic.
Me too, bud. But anyway, guys, we've tried to wrap this up 60 times.
We could literally, if we don't force a stop here, we could literally go.
We need to stop.
Yeah, we could go.
So I hope you enjoyed this edition of the J&J 2 hours and 10 minute version. Power 2 hours and 10 minute. Doesn't really roll off the tongue. But hey, it is what it is. Enjoy the Rumble. Enjoy that festival if you can go. Be an emo kid. Emo kids rule. They are us in general as teenagers. Sad boys that like to cry and
sad
be
boys unite.
Very, very rebellious and we hate the world. We're gonna jump off a bridge. All of that kind of good stuff. But enjoy the Rumble because we seriously will. And we'll see you next week on what will be a much shorter episode. We promise of the J&J Power Hour. But we love you all very much. Goodbye, everyone.